The story starts in the gateway to heaven, which is also known as the upper atmosphere. The 10th level angel of heaven, Ramiel, who is a gatekeeper, suddenly notices a human, a mere mortal, stepping into the heaven. He tries to stop the human by wielding his sword, but the human is so omnipotent that even an angel like Ramiel gets overpowered. The human stops and shouts at the chief, telling him to come out instead of being a weakling. The commotion was huge enough to attract the other angels' attention. Is it true that gatekeeper Ramiel has been attacked? The 8th level angels of heaven, 4 archangels ask. They also try to stop the human from invading the heaven. Who are you? One of the archangels questions. The person replies that he is just a mere human. The angel says, while attacking that this place is for immortals, the heavenly world and the humans who come here can only be dead people. The human punches the archangel and sends him flying. One of the archangels takes out his heavenly bow and arrow and launches it at the human. The angel thinks that he got too excited against a human. As a result, he launched a very powerful attack, but in the next moment he gets totally shocked as he sees that the human is completely fine. The human kicks that angel and makes him fall to the ground. As he is looking at the ground, one of Archangel teleports and tries to attack him with a divine sickle. The human suddenly gets at the back of the angel unnoticeably in mere seconds and deals an attack with his elbow. The last remaining archangel starts to recite a spell in order to kill the human, but he suddenly gets confused as he searches for the human who vanished right in front of his eyes. In the next moment, the human appears above him and knocks the remaining one with an impactful punch. With this, 4 of the archangels were defeated, and he lands on the ground. The human, although being alone in the enemy territory, speaks loud and clear that he wants the chief to come out. Hearing his voice, the heavenly army of the 7th level angels approaches him. The leader of the army, who is a humongous angel with high physical strength, shouts while trying to step on the human. The angel notices that the human has vanished, but after some moments he sees that someone is grabbing his leg and pulling him backwards. The human, with his physical strength alone, spins the angel and pins him down at the army. The army was completely wiped out. After this, another angel comes into view. 5th level angel of heaven, Lord of the sky. Rogariel praises the human for having such formidable strength. Rogariel speaks that the human has to defeat him in order to advance forward. Ha! As a human, you can only come this far, can't you come closer? Rogariel questions. The human reveals his true form. His eyes glow like an angel and he has the teeth of a devil. Upon seeing this, Rogariel gets terrified and notices that the human has vanished. He turns around and witnesses the complete true form of the human. He has the same feathers like an angel, but in the contrary, its color is black. By the time, Rogariel realizes that he is not just fighting against a mere human, but something more than that. The human in his true form just flicks his finger at the angel's forehead to send him flying. Right, the legend was true. You are the hybrid? Aren't you? Rogariel asks. Rogariel tells the human that the word hybrid is a well-deserved title for this kind formidable power. As the hybrid is leaving, Rogariel asks him, why is he using this enormous power against heaven? The hybrid, who is also our MC, replies that this is just the beginning, as he will not stop until he destroys the heavenly world. Additionally, he says while giving a deathly glare that he will not spare a single thing. Why? What made you go to this extent of evil? Rogariel questions while coughing. After hearing this, our MC gets a little emotional. He says that the reason why he is doing this is only because the angels took away everything from him. So, he will surely make them pay for their deeds. After hearing this, our MC gets a little emotional. He says that the reason why he is doing this is only because the angels took away everything from him. So, he will surely make them pay for their deeds. Stir-fried pork with rice, he shouts as he wakes up from his dreams. Stir-fried pork with rice? What kind of sleep talk is this? What on earth was I dreaming about? He questions himself upon waking up. He doesn't even remember. He feels like he is having a lot of strange dreams these days. And it felt like he was fighting with angels. He decides to stop gaming for that reason. As he is touching his spectacles, his finger suddenly sparks, and his whole body tingles as if electricity is flowing inside him. Ick, are you awake? His mother calls him upon entering his room. Is there something wrong with your body? His mother asks. She tells Ick to let her know if he suddenly feels secondary sexual characteristics in his body, or if he wakes up and feels something different under the blanket. These weird interrogations startled the boy as he wakes up from his bed. His mom tells him to wash up and eat as she has to go to work. His dad is doing the house chores. He gently holds his dad's shoulders from behind. His dad gets scared as he assumes that his wife is telling him something. "Ah, I was wrong! Ah, I won't do that again!" He shouts in fear of his wife. In the next moment, he feels relieved to see that it's Ick. Ick, would you like toast for breakfast this morning? His father asks. Ick gets ready and decides not to have the breakfast as it's getting late for school. Ick's mom reminds him that today is his birthday, so he must come home on time because there will be a party in the evening. After he leaves, the mood between the husband and wife changes as if they were hiding something. Ick thinks that his parents are acting weird today. His mom and dad, who have never said anything displeasing. He is now in his 3rd year of high school, so he thinks that they are probably trying to pressurize him to study. He says that he came to his senses now. Starting today, he really needed to quit playing games and study hard. He decides that for math, he has to break down permutations and combinations, then listen to English during every day, and repeat it 1.25 times indefinitely. He looks at his watch and remembers that it's already time for school, so he plans to take a shortcut and runs for it. As he is running, his body feels lighter than before. He was running too fast and unintentionally bumps into some gangster students. Due to the impact, the boy flies for a brief moment and hits the ground. After that, he notices that he is bleeding. His companions calls Ick and keeps his arms around Ick's shoulders, telling him to apologize. Blood? How could a person like me hurt someone with just a bump? Ick asks, while being confused. The injured person's friend tells Ick to pay for the injuries, and at the same time he also gets shocked to see that Ick's shoulders didn't get dislocated even after bumping into such a huge person. Huh? Do I have to pay the medical expenses? Ick questions. At that moment, a streak of light pierces the sky. 8th level angel of heaven. Guardian. Angel Hennael transcends from the sky. She is here in the human world in order to look for a certain someone. The gangster kid asks for $1,000,001 and tries to pressurize Ick by cornering him. The other kid tries to stop his companion out of pity. Are you going to run away after hurting someone? Should I serve you a lawsuit? The kid questions while kicking Ick, but after kicking his legs, starts to hurt. He feels as if he has kicked a rock. Ick then bumps into the angel. Hennael says that she has found the person she was looking for. The school kids thinks that the girl is an angel cosplayer. Hennael introduces herself as a guardian angel and says that she can't forgive those kids for hitting Ick. Guardian angel? Did you get the cosplay from the insurance company? Could you please move out of the way? We need to finish our remaining agreement. How about putting it nicely? Let's see the agreement, shall we? The kid asks angrily. Hennael glares at the kid. She says that she would punish these bad kids accordingly. She jumps upwards, rotating her body, and uses an attack named Kick of Salvation along with the rebirth punch. The kid bleeds badly. She then punches the other kid because of doing a crime of shouting in a residential area. Hennael asks Ick whether he is okay. Do you know me? Ick questions. She says that Ick is the ultimate Abraxas that appears once in a million years. Ick tells Hennael that she has misunderstood him as he was asking about his name. Hennael replies that she also knows that he is Lee Ick, a high school student of 3rd grade. How do you know that? Ick questions. She replies that she can tell all that from Jik's school uniform. Hanael scans Jik's body and sees that his skills are pretty average, not yet human-level tier. She can't see it yet, and the power level is about 8%. Jik asks whether they have met in a game named Canyon and asks for Hanael's ID. Hanael, in the contrary, doesn't understand what Canyon is. She says that she doesn't know anything about it, but she says that she is an angel who has come to this world to give support to Jik. He says that he is sorry, but he has stopped playing starting today. He decided that he should have a hobby other than playing games. Jik says that if Hanael cosplays in the morning and goes outside, it feels like she has caught the middle school second-year syndrome. The power struggle between the heavenly realm and the underworld took place in the Valley of Valhalla. Do you remember the duel that took place there? Do you really know that much? Hanael asks eagerly. Jik doesn't understood any of it and decides to leave by saying thanks to the angel. The angel then transforms herself as a high school student and gets transferred to Jik's school and classroom. She introduces herself as Park Hae-na in front of the students and points at a seat. In the meantime, the teacher announces that the class will start soon, so everybody should sit down and get ready. The students feel that the atmosphere of the classroom has changed as soon as Hae-na entered. She goes near Jik and tells him that she found him again. She says hello, and Jik replies by saying hi without noticing whom he is talking to, but after some time he realizes that she is the same girl that he met this morning. What are you asking for something in return for helping me earlier? Why do you keep chasing me? Jik questions. Hanael explains that it's true that she is chasing Jik because she came looking for him, because he is the ultimate Abraxas that appears once in a million years, and among them, Jik is destined to become the most powerful being, a hybrid. After hearing this, Jik gets shocked and wonders what she meant by hybrid. Hanael shows a card of Sagik, the ultimate product with the powers of both an angel and a demon, a term used to refer to a hybrid who surpasses even the power of a god and is considered to be among the highest tier of the Abraxas class. She says it's really difficult to get this card. It's legendary, but she can't believe that she is seeing one in real life. Could this be some game addiction? Jik asks. Hanael replies that it would be difficult for Jik to understand all of this because he has not awakened yet. But she says that his body, his awakening, and she has a way to prove it. What abilities do you have? Me? Abilities? What is she going on about? Jik wonders. Hanael includes that no matter what Jik will do, he will have amazing abilities. This statement corrupted Jik's mind, so he tries to find something unique in him. In the drawing class, he feels like his hands are going crazy. But in the end, he drew a cartoon instead of a person. In the playing ground, he kicks the football and makes an awesome goal, but the ball he kicked thought that the goalpost might be the basketball hoop. Is this even possible? He wonders. Hey you, Lee Jik. Who dares play basketball with a soccer ball? His coach asks angrily. He says, sorry to the coach. After eating lunch, all the students fall asleep, but in the contrary, Jik, while studying diligently, thinks that he is different, and his concentration is different from usual. Jik. What are you working hard on? His teacher asks while taking his copy. The teacher sees that Jik has written the words angel student and focus a lot of times. What are you doing studying English during Korean history class? The teacher questions. Jik feels something has changed within him from before, but he also thinks that all his abilities are lacking something. Hanael explains that it is because his powers are not fully awakened yet. However, she says that if his fundamentals are solid, then there might be a way, but she loses hope once seeing Jik scoring a perfect 0. Even if Jae-ik is a hybrid, she guesses that he has to gain his knowledge on his own. But once the power of the hybrid is properly awakened, she assures him that he can overcome all hurdles. She says that he can become an Abraxas in an instant. In the stairs, Jae-ik asks Hanael about Abraxas and what they actually are. She explains that Abraxas is a being that transcends the gods of the human world, and especially because Jae-ik is a hybrid, he could even surpass an Abraxas, and he definitely would in the near future, and that's the reason why she has come here to protect and help Jae-ik awaken his power. At that moment, a student throws something at Jae-ik, but he dodges it with his great reflexes. "Who is this Zopop?" Hanael asks. Zopop is a substandard life form with no abilities whatsoever, emitting only methane and carbon dioxide. A being that has no effect on the universe. After hearing this, the person named Yoontae gets really pissed off. Hanael then tells Jae-ik to give Yoontae some hits to back her up. Jae-ik says that Yoontae is the best in his class when it comes to fighting. Hanael replies that it really doesn't matter. The question is how well he can control his strength and whether Yoontae dies in one hit or two. For now, she tells him to think that he is catching a fly by extending his fist. What's the best way to educate children who do not value their classmates? Hanael questions, and she also gives the answer that all he has to do is beat the children who needs to be educated up to the point that they don't die so they can come to their senses. In the meantime, Yoontae is getting extremely mad and losing his cool. Lastly, Hanael tells Jae-ik to believe in himself and to take a shot. The fight begins. Yoontae tries to slap his opponent, but Jae-ik dodges swiftly. Jae-ik then moves his hand towards Yoontae to stop him. Yoontae flies away due to the brute force Jae-ik exerted with his hands. A friend of Yoontae comes to his rescue, seeing him bleeding. "Yoontae, what happened to you? Who did this to you?" his friend asks. Yoontae shouts, telling his friend to let go of him, and asks, "What is he doing here?" His friend's face grew pale as he says that Yoontae has come to their class through the wall, and his companion wonders how can this be possible. At the same time, Jae-ik is looking for Yoontae as he doesn't know where he went through the wall. Hanael goes to that classroom and uses a healing magic at Yoontae. After getting healed and seeing Jae-ik, Yoontae charges at him. Jae-ik again uses his power unknowingly, and Yoontae hits the wall of the blackboard. Hanael again uses healing magic to cure Yoontae. This time also, after getting healed, he jumps straight at Jae-ik to attack him. Jae-ik's eyes changes color and becomes red, and this time he goes to punch his opponent. Hanael jumps in to save Yoontae and uses cure to keep Yoontae conscious. Yoontae feels like he was on the brink of going Super Saiyan. Hanael then goes to check Jae-ik. Jae-ik feels that his whole body is tingling. She sees that Jae-ik has already attained red eyes, and it only happens when the evil side within a hybrid manifests first. Hanael firstly uses hypnosis on the students, which forces them to think about good and beautiful ideas. Both of them feel like that they need to keep this world clean and go to work on it. Secondly, she uses restoration to fix the crack in the wall. Jae-ik regains consciousness and asks what just happened. Why was the wall damaged? Hanael replies that it's all because of his strength, which awakened quicker than expected. She tells Jae-ik to listen carefully. She says that soon the forces of evil will come for him because he has already awakened the vibrations of evil, and they must have already felt the hybrid's awakening. At that time, a devil comes out from a magic gate. He says that he never expected to see a wave of evil this quickly. Who made the sound of the evil wave? He wonders. After some time, the previously two brothers who were beaten by Hanael comes to the school with their big brother. Upon reaching near the school gate, their big brother notices a strange person. "Who's that guy?" he questions. The demon says that he thinks that he has come to the right place. Seeing the demon, some boys starts to make fun of him. The demon then approaches them and asks them that if it is the Purgatory High School. The boys ignores his question and asked him, "Who is he?" The demon gives a dead look and tells them that he is Demon Scalpel, and he is in the level 6 of Hell Demon Army. Hearing this, the boys burst out in laughter, and the short guys tells Scalpel that he is also a demon. The short guys also says that he is the authority for private lending in this area, and he is the one called Little Demon Wu Shijimi. The subordinates of the short guy also says that he is strong, and he has also learned judo. Scalpel leans towards the shorty and asks him if he is a Zopop. The boys get a bit scared and ask Scalpel that what is that. Scalpel takes a closer look and says that he is an imp who is lurking around the world. For your information, imp is the lowest level of demon and is famous for being ugly and short. They extort money and are very greedy. Hearing this, the short guy shouts that he is not a imp. He is the little demon. As Scalpel is not agreeing with him, the short guy gets angry and says that he have to use his secret method. The subordinates of the guy get scared, thinking that he will change into that form. The short guy raises his hands and tells Scalpel that he will be so scared to see this that his whole body will be soaked in sweat from fear. Scalpel smiles and asked him that if he is going to show him something fun. But the most shocking part is that after saying all this bossy dialogues, the short guy acts like a lady and tries to act cute. What a disgusting sight. The shorty's subordinates also get shy to see this. This is Shorty's ultimate trick, as he thinks that if he does this, no one will be able to hit his cute face. Seeing this, Scaled stand still. The other two guys starts to cry and close their eyes. Shorty gets more closer to Scalpel and acts like a young lady. He then makes a disgusting face and asked Scalpel that if he wants to punch this cute face. On the other hand, the orange-haired guy gets mad and tries to beat the shit out of him. Scalpel makes an annoyed face and looks at the guy. On the other side, we can see Jayak is running away from Hanael, but as Jayak's human speed is no match to an angel's speed, so he was caught by Hanael. Hanael grabs him and asked him that why is he avoiding her, Jayak, then tells her that until yesterday, he was just an ordinary high school student whose favorite food was pork rice bowl. But a strange game addict appears suddenly and everything becomes weird. His peaceful daily life has been completely destroyed. Hearing this, Hanael replies that she is his guardian angel. JIK gets scared and says that he knows that and that why it is so weird. An angel in an ordinary school. How does that even make sense? Also, what is a hybrid and what is an awakening? Ik also says that he finds it unfamiliar and scary. Hanael stands still after hearing this. She tries to help out JIK, so he tells him that she is his friend, so she will share his hardship with him. JIK gets annoyed and starts to walk away. At that time, Hanael grabs his shoulder and tells him that as today is his birthday, so if she can come and wish him, JIK gets a bit confused, so he asked Hanael that, how did she know that? I'm your guardian angel, not just in name or appearance. Wouldn't it be weird if I didn't know even this much? How about it? Are you fine now? Hanael replied. She also says that if an angel comes and blesses him on his birthday, he will achieve everything he wants. After hearing this, Ik agrees that she can come with him, but he puts one condition. The condition is that if his parents find out that she is an angel, they might be shocked, so she has to keep it a secret. And also, this is his first time inviting a non-human to his house, so she must never reveal that she is an angel. Hanael jumps in joy and agrees to the condition and tells Ik to trust her. After that, she grabs both of Jayak's shoulders and actives her wings and take Jak and flies high in the sky. Jak gets scared and asked Hanael that what is she doing as he has told her to not reveal her identity. Hanael ignores Jak and flies quickly towards Jak's home. On the other side, we can see Scalpel is dealing with the short guy. He tells the guy that it is fun, and he gets closer to the guy's ears and uses devil's whispers and tells that guy that he is cute. Hearing this, the shorty feels a strange sensation. It is like a hot dagger stabs his chest and hurts him. Shorty then feels on the ground on his knees. Seeing this, his subordinates rushes forward. Scalpel points his fingers to them and also shots them with his magic. The guy feels extreme pain and falls on the ground. At that time, Henael flies over there. Scalpel looks at the sky and he gets that this is an angel's trail. He then also actives his wings and flies and flow the trail. In the meantime, Henael and Jaek has safely reached Jaek's home. After landing, Jaek yells at her saying that what will she do if people sees this? Henael apologized to him and says that she was excited, as it's been a while she has been invited to a birthday. Jaek then opens the door and warns Henael to stay properly in his home. Seeing Jaek home, his dad greets him and asked him that why he is so shaky. Jaek ignores that and introduces his new friend to his dad. Henael greets Jaek's dad, but after seeing her, Jaek's dad starts to sweat. Later, while the both of them are walking inside at that time, Jaek's dad asked Henael that, what is she doing while she is on work? Henael tells him to stay quiet and don't show it. After that, Jaek dad calls him and shows him the birthday cake that he made himself. Jaek gets surprised and asked his dad that, why did he make it as they usually order from outside? His dad replies that this birthday of his is a bit special, so he make one for him. At that time, the doorbell rings. As Jaek opens the door, he sees that Scalpel is standing with a present in his hand. Scalpel says hello to everyone and tells them that HR has come to congratulate his new friend on his birthday. Seeing Scalpel. Henael and Jaek's dad gets that he is a demon, so they stays on guard. Jaek tells Scalpel that he didn't know him, so who did they become friends? Scalpel pulls Jaek towards him and says that from tomorrow he studying with him in the same school, so they are friends. Jaek's dad gets out of there by saying that he needs to check the oven. Jaek also goes to his room to change his clothes. At that time, Henael launched her attack on Scalpel. Due to the impact, Scalpel flies away and gets out of the home. Henael follows him and again attacks, but Scalpel is also a powerful demon, so he easily deals with Henael's attacks. At that time, Jaek gets out of this room, and as he looks out, he sees that the two of them are fighting. He gets closer to the railing and shouts at them to stop this fighting and quickly get back. Hearing Jaek, they gets back, and Henael uses her powers to restore the damaged things. After that, Scalpel opens the present box, and from there, he takes out a blue crystal. He tells Jaek that with the help of this crystal, they can see his future. Jaek and Henael looks at the blue crystal. After that, Scalpel casts the magic, and the crystal ball starts to emit bright light. Now it's the time to see if Jaek will become a terrifying demon or will he become an angel who is more merciful than the angels themselves. As the blue crystal shines brightly, we can see the future of Jaek, but it is so faster that Jaek and the other two entities are unable to see a single thing. The demon Scalpel then adjusts the speed to 0.5. Even though the speed is set to 0.5, the image is so blurry that nobody is able to understand anything. Scalpel then puts some of his magic in the crystal, and a clear image of a boy with pitch-black body and wings in a red background appears. Seeing this, Scalpel says that it is the image of an evil, and so in the future, Jaek will be a demon. Don't talk nonsense! You dastardly demons! Are you going to use tricks to take him away? The angel Henael says this and gives a powerful slap on the face of Scalpel. Due to the impact of the slap, Scalpel's jaw gets disoriented and he starts to bleed from nose and mouth. Scalpel gets up and he fixes his jaw and tells Henael that the angels are wicked, that they trying to claim those who have not yet fully awakened. Henael makes an angry face and tells Scalpel that Jaek must stand on Angel's side, as they can't allow demons like him to wield such great power. Seeing Hanael getting fired up, Scalpel also gets angry and tells Hanael, and if she tries to attack one more time, he won't hold back. Seeing the two of them fighting, J.E.K. shouts and tells them to stop. He then goes towards them and tells them to stay low, or else his dad will notice. The fun fact is that J.E.K.'s dad knows all of this and is scared by seeing this scene. At that time, the doorbell rings and J.E.K. knows that it is his mom. He tells Scalpel and Hanael to quickly clean up the mess before his mom enters. J.E.K.'s mom opens the door with the keys and enters the room. Seeing her, J.E.K. goes to her and greets her. But J.I.K.'s mom notices Scalpel and gets shocked. She uses telepathy and tells Scalpel to act like he doesn't know her. J.A.I.K. then tells his mom that this new guys are his friends. J.A.I.K.'s mom maintains her composure and nicely greets her son's new friends. At that time, J.A.I.K.'s dad comes with the birthday cake and tells J.A.I.K. that they should now start the birthday party. After that, all of them sits on the table with the cake. Everyone is silent, so the situation gets intense. In the meantime, J.I.K.'s dad remembers that he needs a lighter to light up the candles, so he gets up to get them. But at that time, Scalpel summons the hellfire and lights up all the candles. J.I.K. gets scared to see this. Hanael also doesn't want to fall behind Scalpel, so she plays a birthday music for J.I.K. Hanael's voice is like the angels, so to cover it up, J.A.I.K. tells his mom that Hanael used some AI speaker to play the song. While the kids are enjoying the angels' music, J.I.K.'s dad whispers to his mom that today is J.I.K.'s 19th birthday, and this to persons are demon and angel who has come here to take J.I.K. on their sides. J.I.K.'s mom tells J.I.K.'s dad to shut up, as she already knows this. But the reason the both of them are so nervous because they are scared that their true identity will be revealed to J.I.K. Then thanks this mom and dad for wishing him happy birthday. He also says that he can't believe that how fast time flies as he has already turned 19. After telling everyone his thanks, he tells them that now he is going to make a wish. Hearing this, the demon and the angel smiles, because they both think that J.I.K. will either wish to be a demon or an angel. The reason that both the demon realm and the angel realm wants to take over J.I.K. is because they are scared about J.I.K.'s powers, because the future J.I.K. will be the apex hybrid. After a while, J.I.K. has finished his wish, and now he wants to blow the candles. At that time, Angel Hanael gets scared and tells the other three that there was a person mentioned in the old legend. The person name is Moot King, the Abraxas he was from Atlantis. Although he failed to become an apex hybrid, he gained tremendous abilities through awakening, and the first thing he did as soon as he awakened was because his shoes got wet and uncomfortable as he walked by. With just a breath, he caused the Mu continent to sink and disappear from the face of the earth. The four of them thought that J.I.K. blow with have the same effect, so they were so scared. But fortunately, nothing like that happened, and the candles were blown out, peaceful. After that, J.I.K. takes a knife and starts to cut that cake at that time. Scalpel tells them the story of another hybrid. That person name was the O.P. Abraxas, and he was from planet Mars, although he also failed to become an apex hybrid. But as soon as he awakened on his birthday, he used the dagger in his hand and made a huge scratch on Mars. As a result, all life forms on Mars became extinct and were forgotten. But again, nothing like that happened, and J.I.K. peacefully served the cakes. After that, the four of them get up from the table and comes on a corner. They were all tensed about J.I.K.'s awakening, as it has not happened yet. They were all so tensed as the first awakening is supposed to held on the 19th birthday. Hanael tells them that J.I.K. has experienced his initial awakening powers at school. After not finding any clue, they decide to ask J.I.K. about the wish. While J.I.K. is enjoying his cake, his mom and dad comes to him and asked him about his wish. Jayak then gets into a serious mode, and by fixing his glasses, he starts to tell them about his wish. Scalpel starts to measure the power rise in Jayak, and he finds that the power has risen about 15%. While Jayak is talking, everyone is sensing a powerful viv from him. After a while, the power gauge jumps to 20%, and by seeing this, Scalpel gets happy. Aura starts to cover Jayak when he tells that the weak and foolish Jayak from yesterday will be no more. After a while, Jayak gives a dramatic shout and says that from today onwards, he will study hard to get into the Soul University, and after that, he is going to get a job at Naver. Hearing this, the four of them gets depressed. After an earthquake, Jayak's dad and the angel jumps in joy and says that it's a perfect awakening. Scalpel gets angry, and he smacks the face of Jayak on the cake. Hanael comes and rises up Jayak and asked Scalpel that if he is trying to hurt Jayak. Scalpel laughs and tells them that, as it's his friend's awakened birthday, so he should congratulate him. After that, Jayak goes to the washroom to clean him up. Scalpel then sits and thinks that the awakening process is so slow that Jayak has only unlocked 20% of his awakening powers. And with this, powers Jayak won't be able to dodge a single attack of Scalpel. Scalpel then starts to think that what he should do to full awaken Jayak's powers. After a while of thinking, Scalpel tells others that there should be a symbols that appears on Jayak's body, and also Jayak hasn't manifested the demonic symbol, the black wings, yet. Hearing this, Hanael tells Scalpel that what he is talking about, as Jayak will manifest the white wings. After that, the two of them starts to argue of this topic. Normally, an Apex hybrid has both the wings, and initially it's up to Jayak that what wings he wants. After that, Hanael and Scalpel argues that Jayak will choice their wings, but after huge arguments, they decided that they will encourage Jayak's awakening. Hearing this, Jayak's mom and dad tells them that they were told that they only need to take care of that kid until he turns 19. So they thought they could return today. Scalpel and Hanael reply that they will have to do overtime. After that, we can see Jayak is in the washroom and he is cleaning his face and shirt. But there is a strange thing he has been feeling from the moment he enters his home. The thing is that from the moment Jayak enters the home, he has a feeling that something is sprouting on his back. The next day in the streets, Jayak finds a bag full of money. He counts how much money is in the bag and searches for the person who put their bag here and forgot. He then sees a girl who is looking for something desperately. "Where did I put the money?" She cries while searching. She says that she lost it like a careless person. The money even includes the tuition fee she has been saving up for a long time. Jayak thinks that he can't help but sympathize when he sees someone in difficulty. He hands over the money bag to the girl. The girl says thanks to him and calls him an angel. Am I really an angel? He wonders. Hey, man! Why is it short 50,001? The girl shouts. Nevertheless, Jayak has already received his reward for saving a girl's life, and currently he is running along with it. At the school gate, he sees two girls who are late for school. Jayak is also late for school, so the gate is closed. He goes near the students and gives them an advice. He tells them to explain their reasons of being late to the teacher. He says that if they explain it perfectly, the teacher will understand. Both of them then try to convince the teacher near the gate by saying that they were late because there was an accident on their way here, but it won't happen in the future. Jayak leaves the girls there and jumps over the wall to reach the other side of the school, and as the teacher is already talking to the girls, he didn't even notice that Jayak jumped the wall in order to enter the school. Jayak thinks that he will do whatever it takes to avoid any losses for himself. "What are you doing here?" the teacher shouts while noticing. He then makes up a lie to avoid the teacher's attention. He tells the teacher that the students named Youngtae and Yoonjun Ho are currently eating tteokbokki in the front right now. The teacher tells the students that whoever comes late will receive a deduction in attitude score. Now that he has done something terrible, He smirks and wonders whether he is a demon now. In the classroom, the teacher announces that there is a new transfer student who will attending class today. He tells all the students to be considerate of the new student because he has come from a foreign country and doesn't know much about Korean culture yet. Scalpel enters the classroom. He greets the human kids and introduces himself as someone who emerged from the fiery pit of hell hotter than lava and is the demon's messenger. In addition, he says that, as a commemoration of coming to this school, he has prepared a gift for all of them, something that they will never be able to taste in the human world. He says that he will be giving them a taste of the hot fire from hell. "Who wants a hellfire hot sauce hell burger?" he shouts. The burger is so spicy that everybody eating it was now full of tears. He points at a bench where he wants to sit. He says that is happy to. Scalpel teases Haniel. "Isn't it common courtesy to at least localize the names?" "You keep using the name Scalpel," Haniel asks. Scalpel replies that fulfilling desires is the demon's basic nature and tells her to look carefully, as no one has any complaints because it satisfies their desires. Jae-ik thinks that in just a few days a lot of things has changed. There is an angel sitting right next to him and a demon right behind him. The reason both the angel and the devil came to find Jae-ik is according to them. It was to awaken Jae-ik's abilities. Do I have no other choice but to accept this fate? He thinks deeply. He says, for example, when he goes to school, if a girl just casually says that she wants someone to destroy the school building because she doesn't want to go to the lecture, Jae-ik could easily destroy it if he masters his powers. He gives another example. He says that when he gets a job someday, and in the interview if he is told to share his specialties, then he could say that he could turn this recruitment room into a sea of fire. But in the end, what is the use of all of this? In the next scene, Scalpel tells Haniel that he has something to talk with her, so Haniel follows him. "Where are we going?" she questions. Scalpel says that he can't blow off Haniel's cover in front of the students. Haniel gets confused as she doesn't know what he meant by it. In the conclusion, Scalpel tells Haniel to give up on the hybrid. Haniel says that she expected this kind of talking, but she says that she can't give up on Jae-ik because he is the last hope that heaven has been waiting for. All right. I get it. I knew you wouldn't give up easily. As expected. You angels are so innocent, you followed without any suspicion when the demon called and ended up falling into my trap, didn't you? Scalpel asks while laughing. Scalpel binds Haniel with magic. He says that it's fortunate that the barrier he set up in the morning was successful. "Hey, what are you doing? Release me right away!" she shouts at him. Scalpel says that she has to stay like that for a while, and in the meantime, he will help Jae-ik to make his decision faster. He then goes to Yuntae, or, in another word, the Zopop. He teases Yuntae by calling him Zopop. Yuntae gets angry and tries to attack Scalpel, but he gets blocked by a barrier. Scalpel tells Yuntae that everyone now calls him a Zopop, even though everybody is saying another words like sushi, spirayati, and garden. For Yuntae, he is just hearing the word Zopop. He shouts at all of them to stop. Scalpel laughs as he says that even the girls are calling Yuntae Zopop. He gets angry and frustrated, tears comes out from his eyes, he loses all the confidence, and says that he doesn't think he can win even if he attacks Jae-ik again, as Jae-ik is a monster. Scalpel, while giving a devil's laughs, moves his hand towards Yuntae. He tells Yuntae that if he wants, he can also have that kind of power. "No way! How could this be possible?" Yuntae questions. Scalpel replies that if Yuntae makes a deal with him, then he can give Yuntae this power. "A deal? Are you saying that I have to sell my soul or something?" Zopop questions. Scalpel replies that he is not interested in such things after receiving this power. He tells Yuntae to just use it to get revenge of Jae-ik. Yuntae agrees and the deal has been finally made. After receiving the power, he feels a sudden burst of energy and aura radiating from his body. He feels omnipotent, as if he is the strongest man on earth. Scalpel then explains that this power is not to that extent. It's more like being ranked first in the local area. "I'm no longer a Zopop?" he shouts. At the rooftop, Jayak says that his fate, the path that he needs to awaken to, is a path that has exciting career and a cool appearance that will ignite his passion. But he doesn't think this one will be of any help at all. He says that the path of being a hybrid is probably not the path he should really take and decides to choose differently. Right here at this moment, he decides to throw away the chains that bound him. Now he only has confidence. And all that's left now is victory. All that criticism and hardship. He plans to shake it off, stand up and confront the world. For him, his CSAT score is more important than useless superpowers. He will do his best to live an ordinary life, and will even reject his fate and seal his powers in order to do that. He opens the door while thinking that this is the path he will choose. As he opens the gate, he sees Zopop with red eyes. Zopop was searching for Jayak for a long time and finally found him. "I came here to get some fresh air. Look at those red eyes. How much did you study, but could you please make way for me?" Jayak requests politely. Without wasting any time, Yuntei launches an impactful punch at Jayak. Jayak couldn't dodge it as he was not on guard. Scalpel was sitting on the ceiling, seeing and enjoying the scenario. He says that to open the waves of evil through appropriate stimulation is his own way of strategy. He smiles as he says that he hopes his strategy works out. Hanael notices a dark red aura coming from the rooftop. What the hell is going on? She wonders. On the rooftop, the punch was impactful enough to send Jayak flying, but Jayak handles himself very well and looks more like a beast himself. He tells Yuntei to stop fighting as he doesn't want to fight. Yuntei says that whether it was both in elementary or middle school, he alone was the charging one, but suddenly Jayak appears and snatches that position. He says that at that time he felt humiliated, and now he wants to become the king of the school. Yuntei rushes towards Jayak and starts to punch him. "Why are you standing still? Why don't you hit me like you did back then?" he questions. Jayak, on the contrary, is taking all the damages without flinching. He tells Yuntei to stop this at once. Yuntei is desperately punching while wondering that why even Jayak's glasses are fine. Jayak thinks that Yuntei will be mad if he knows that his attacks are only itching a bit. Scalpel says that the kid is not as good as he thought he would be. Ow! No! That clueless appearance can't be your true nature. It must be because Hanael has sown some good seeds in you. "Then shall I try to defile it this time?" he asks, while laughing his tongue out. He creates magical threads in order to control and provide more strength to Yuntei. "Ah! So much power has come into me! I can't control my strength!" Yuntei shouts as he is unable to control his own strength and body. He is busting with powers which he never has harness. He screams and his teeth and horn grows like a demon. Jayak gets puzzled and sees a punch coming right at him. This time, he also takes the punch, but it hurts a little. Yuntei smiles as he was finally successful to hurt Jaik. He then kicks and punches simultaneously. "Isn't it strange that you didn't feel any pain when you were getting beaten up like this?" he questions. He feels awesome, intrigued and excited at the same time. "Did I get him this time?" he wonders with a smirk in his face. Alas. Hanael was able to break free of the chains and comes right to the rooftop. As she enters, she sees that Scalpel is controlling Yuntei by providing his powers. She gets furious and kicks Scalpel from behind. Scalpel says that he didn't expect Hanael to break free this quickly. "Do you think you could stop me with just that level of seal?" Hanael asks. Scalpel smiles as he tells her not to be pretentious, because he can see clearly that she is panting. He says that Hanael is not like herself when she is tired while grabbing her neck. Hanael then jumps and kicks backward. She says that she can be a fool for once, but not twice because a demon's tricks are easily revealed on the second try. Oh, so you are saying you are innocent but not stupid, huh? Then what about this? He asks, while creating his binding spell. As Scalpel completely tries to bind Heniel, both of them hear Jay Ike shouting with a sudden outburst of power. He says that he doesn't need this kind of power. The power outburst was so impactful that both the demon and the angel are pushed backwards. Jay Ike says that he just wanted to live an ordinary life. Scalpel tells Heniel to watch closely, how Jay Ike's power is being liberated. Jay Ike not only has the wave of goodness she hoped for, and once Jay Ike accepts the wave of evil and unleashes its power, he will something that no one has ever seen. You want to live an ordinary life with that much power? Uni questions and tells Jay Ike that if he doesn't want that kind of power, he should give it to someone who wants it. He runs forward and punches Jay Ike, but Jay Ike's face feels more like a rock to him, and he falls down to the ground due to the impact of his own force. Ah! My hand! He screams in pain. Jay Ike then punches the ground, which deals a heavy impact and even shakes the school. The students wonders what kind of construction is being done on the roof. By seeing this, Yuntae gets horrified and keeps sweating out of fear. Jae-ik tells Yuntae that he wants to stop this because he doesn't like exerting his power like this. Scalpel sees that his prediction was perfectly correct. And as expected, Jae-ik's awakening level will surge rapidly as he enters battles. Yuntae says that he understands, and he also wants to stop here. So he says sorry to Jae-ik. Jae-ik decides to leave Yuntae and turns around as he says that school violence is bad. The moment he turned around, Yuntae reveals his true intentions and tries to attack again from the back and punches with a full power counterattack. He smiles as he thinks that this attack was a fatal one, but to his surprise, his attack didn't even left a scar on Jae-ik's body. This time, Jae-ik gets really furious. "Let's continue. Is that it you want?" he asks, while giving a death glare. On the other hand, Scalpel is excited as he sings and thinks that everything is going according to his plan. Jae-ik's awakening level is increasing gradually, along with his anger. Heniel runs towards Jae-ik in order to stop any more hazards. "Now let's see what happens to those who reject peace." "I told you to stop, didn't I?" he asks angrily. "Stop! Stop, please!" Both Heniel and Yuntae shouts. Jae-ik ready his hand for a punch. He tells Yuntae to consider this punch as a historical lesson. As he is about to punch, Heniel comes in front of him and uses her shield to block the attack. Heniel tries to stop Jae-ik by saying that this situation isn't Yuntae's fault, but he doesn't listen as anger has succumbed his actual senses. Jae-ik's awakening rate increases from 41 to 45%, and it starts to break Heniel's shield barrier. It is a dangerous situation. Heniel grabs Yuntae and flies away from the danger with her wings. Jae-ik says that after today, his peaceful life has changed. Heniel notices that Jae-ik is already on 179 degrees, but she feels relieved that it hasn't gone to 180 degrees yet. She notices that her shield can't put up with that tremendous power. Jae-ik jumps upward to attack Yuntae again. This time, Heniel uses her mega shield, but this shield also starts to break. Scalpel, sitting on the back, seeing all the commotion, says that finally it has all started, the opening of a wave of evil. Heniel says that her shield couldn't hold for much longer, so she uses her Giga shield. Oh, this is the last train runaway locomotive, Scalpel shouts in excitement. Oh. Last train runaway locomotive is a special technique that manifests when feelings of injustice and frustration reach their peak. The power and form of the attack vary greatly depending on the caster's ability. It's a relentless fury that surfaces after reaching the end of one's patience and endurance. This is without a doubt a sign of irrational anger management disorder. Can it be stopped? He wonders. He then sees that the awakening level is spiking again. It has gone from 45 to 50%. The Giga Shield shatters and Henale again flies away while carrying our Zopop. Yunti feels like he is eternal peace as he hugs Henale tightly. Henale realizes that at this rate, J-Ike might completely be tainted by evil. She shouts at J-Ike to stop the outburst. J-Ike doesn't know what this feeling is. A warm surge rises from deep within his chest. This urge he is experiencing for the first time. This is what the awakening of the power means. A power guided by fate. His heart swells with grandeur. Then he feels that something is itching on his back. Henale has stabbed J-Ike with a straw. She says that it is the only way to prevent the outburst. J-Ike thinks that making a fuss isn't his style. Winning a brawl is trivial. True victors are those who triumph in life, so he wants to lose, or at least needs to learn how to lose. Henale barely managed to stop the outburst by using Chillman's straw. Chillman's straw is a technique that induces calmness and suppresses confusion by sticking the straw used by the ancient god, Chillman, into the opponent's mind. Scalpel shouts that it a cowardly trick to use as an angel. She replies that she couldn't, that stand still and watch J-Ike continue his outburst. "What are you doing?" Henale asks. Scalpel also uses a straw. He justifies that he also couldn't stand still and do nothing either. Suddenly, after using the straw, J-Ike again feels the sensation of anger. Scalpel J-Ike to tune it into his heart's voice. He used triple-folded straw, a technique that gradually increases the sense of deep anger. Both the angel and the devil tries to comfort and convince J-Ike in their own way. The more he thinks about it, the more angrier he gets. He also wants to beat them all up. No, why am I even angry in the first place? He wonders while getting totally confused. That's right. No, that's not right. It's not that the right thing is right. It's that what's supposed to be right is not, he shouts, and shows an act of cognitive dissonance as he is puzzled with both his actions and emotions. J-Ike realizes that he is losing himself, and the quarrel between the angel and the devil is driving him crazy. At that moment, he cools his mind and starts to think deeply. That this is not a matter of right or wrong. This power that has suddenly come to him, if he could possess this power, then this power could also be discarded, he concludes. Scalpel notices that the awakening rate is rapidly decreasing. Is reducing one's awakening progress one of a hybrid's power? Henale wonders where that limit is. It is as if J-Ike has found enlightenment, as he was able to bodily discard the power that he can't handle. Detachment. Yep, it is. Oh my God, he has mastered the legendary detachment, the ability that is said to be the strongest among those who renounce their possession. Henale shouts in excitement. The power level has completely stabilized. J-Ike goes near Yunte and precisely explains that he discarded the unnecessary power and gained a new one. Yunte, are you okay? He asks. He says that they shouldn't fight like this. Instead, he advises Yunte to study hard from now in order to go to a good university together. The thing we are now seeing is the power of positively. Alas, both of them became friends. In the back, Henale says that either way, she is relieved that it ended on a heartwarming note, while on the contrary, Scalpel gets furious because he didn't expect that J-Ike will give up his power like that. Henale smiles as he thinks that, even in such a mess, it's remarkable that J-Ike can build up the power of positivity. And as expected, he truly has the qualities of an angel. Scalpel now knows an important fact about hybrids. He analyzed that all hybrids may have the power to control their awakening rate at their own will. At the bus stop, J-Ike tells Yunte that they should meet each other warmly next time. Zopop agrees and says that he is gonna jot down what happened today in his diary. He will cherish and never forget what happened today. After some time, Jae-ik reaches home and greets his parents with a smile. "You're here. Anything special happen? Have you eaten?" Both of them ask upon witnessing the smiling face of Jae-ik. He speaks that he realized a lot today. He says thank you for their love and care for all this time. He announces that he will strive to do better and live more fully from now on. His dad smiles while his mom gets angry as she finds out that Scalpel failed on his job to awaken the devil luring inside Jae-ik. His father gets happy upon seeing that Jae-ik is brimming with a wave of good now. Jae-ik's mother realizes that this won't do, and she has no other choice but to take action. She brings out a cell phone and says that it's been a long time since she has taken this out. She wishes that she didn't have to bring it out again, but this type of circumstances calls for it. Hell the world make it better place. The music rings on the phone and some fearsome entity picks up the call. "What is it, servant? Contact is prohibited during missions." "So why did you call me?" the unknown entity asks. She replies that we'll use the call chance and says that Scalpel is too inexperienced to handle the target. The anonymous devil replies that this is a good reason for using the call chance, so he will accept it. Additionally, he informs that we'll send someone more suitable soon to carry out the job. In the endlessly deep abyss, at the very bottom of hell, the lowest level of the abyss, a prisoner in the farthest room of infinite hell, it annihilates anything in its sight, also known as the destroyer of hell. One of the devil goes to meet him and calls him the dark Satan. The devil says that finally the liberation has come. So he tells the dark Satan to go up to the surface that he wanted so much to deceive and trample those he sees to his heart's content. Sounds pretty interesting, liberation, you say? Huh? The dark Satan asks. At Jae-ik's home, the news of the arrival of the Satan-class threat reaches his dad. "So they sent a Satan-class threat for this?" Jae-ik's dad questions. His mom replies, "They can't afford any more delays. 19 years have already passed, and the previous method isn't working. This is the best decision. Our mission wasn't to hurt Jae-ik." "What if something happens to Jae-ik because of this?" his dad asks, while keeping his hand on his pretending wife's shoulder. His wife gets angry as she grabs and starts to bend one of his fingers. She reminds him that Jae-ik was just a ward they were looking after for the mission. So he must approach this with unnecessary human sentimentality, because the moment he starts thinking about affection and familial love, his resolve will weaken. After that, Jae-ik's dad pulls back his finger and both of them start to shout. "What if Jae-ik overhears all of this?" his dad shouts. At that moment, Jae-ik enters. "Just now, what do you mean by that?" he questions while being extremely puzzled about the current situation. At the same time, Hell's 6th-class Demon Legion destroyer of stage Mercurochrome makes his entry into the world of the living. It's been a while since he has felt the outside air. "Grrrr! I'm overflowing with power. This is what being alive feels like," he shouts. According to him, this place is like heaven, which he wants to smash to stir up chaos, but he suddenly hears a voice in his head telling him that, "It's too soon, Mercurochrome. Your special pardon is only applied to missions of subduing the Apex Hybrid and bringing him back to the awakened stage. If you meet that condition, you can unleash as much destruction as you like." After hearing this, he says that typical demons always tend to attack conditions, but he decides to take it as a condition he could handle. He says that he will start with the boy who will become the Apex Hybrid fast, and he wants to destroy him because they never said to bring that boy alive. "Oh, big fella, don't block the road, move. Do you own the road or something? Don't jaywalk." A person driving a car in the road shouts at Mercurochrome. Mercurochrome gets angry and starts to accumulate energy at his spear to unleash an attack. He says that anyone who will stand in his way will be smashed to bits as he swings his spears. Additionally, he says that he doesn't believe in any so-called legends, as legends tend to be exaggerated and inflated, and especially since Jae-ik is a novice yet to awaken, he assumes that he will easily smash it, and with this, Mercurochrome wants to rewrite the legend by saying the legend was wrong. At Jae-ik's home, "Are you saying that I'm not your real child?" he asks, while making a confusing yet sad expression. Both of his parents try to dodge the questions by making some excuses. Jae-ik's mom tells him that he must have heard it wrong, since his mom was summarizing the drama she watched yesterday. "Tell me, Dad!" Jae-ik shouts in frustration. His dad lies on the ground, asking for forgiveness. "So, Dad is not my biological father? And Mom, she's not my real mother either?" he asks sadly. Both of his parents realize that lying won't work on this kid now. Jae-ik, while releasing his aura, says to them to tell him everything, how he was born and even how all of this happened. His mom starts to explain that a very long time ago, there was a great war between heaven and hell. The war, sparked by differing ideologies, raged on for a millennium. This millennium-long war eventually lost its purpose, turning into a meaningless fight with unending sacrifices, bestowing nothing but destruction and despair upon both heaven and hell. The angels and demons, exhausted from the continuous strife, finally devised a solution to conclude the war. They chose a representative from each side to engage in a one-on-one duel, deciding the outcome of the war and agreeing to accept the result gracefully. Isn't this too much? Can't you summarize it in about 5 lines? "What does my birth have to do with this?" Jae-ik asks. His mom tells him to hold on because the main story is just getting started. The chosen representatives were the archangel Seraphim for the angels and the great demon Baal for the demons. Keeping everything from the 1,000-year war at stake, the death match started. That was the renowned duel of the Valhalla Canyon. How dare you casually mention the name of the archangel? "Is Seraphim your friend?" Jae-ik's dad asks while interrupting the flow of the story. Jae-ik grabs his father's mouth while telling him not to intervene. At that battle, "Seraph, is this our first time going head-to-head? How about a cup of coffee before we fight?" the great demon Baal asked as he tried to tease Seraphim. Seraphim, on the contrary, says that she will purify his foul mouth with the power of light, and thus their battle commenced with the pride of angels and demons on the line. Their strife persisted, with no one showing signs of defeat. There seemed to be no end in sight. That's how they ended up fighting for another 1,000 years. Both of them realized that the fight which was started in order to end the war is increased because they have expended the battles for 1,000 years. Seraphim said that at this rate, they both will end up dying. The demon Baal agrees with her and suggests that they should avoid unnecessary exhaustion, so they both decided to settle the battle with their ultimate moves. The angel used the power of compassion. She says that she will transcend everything through love. On the other hand, the demon Baal used the power of greed, the strength to humble oneself before what one desires. The angel's attack was driven by goodwill, while the demon's attack was driven by malice. The collision shook that area, and in that moment, something unthinkable occurred. From compassion, the calm fell away, and from greed, the gree fell away. Something no one could have predicted. The emotion of love and passion arose. The two words from the ultimate techniques surprisingly harmonized with each other. Both the enemies started to have feelings for each other, a feeling that they could never have experienced until now. Even the angels and demons observing the battle began to question their own sight. "We've been battling all this while, haven't we, Baal?" Seraphim asks as she gets close to Baal while blushing. Baal replies, saying, "Indeed, but now it seems to be a time for them to build something." It was destined to unfold this way from the start. One of the angels tells them to keep their distance from each other, while two of the demons shout at the angel to stop the music he is playing. Despite everyone's disapproval, they couldn't halt their intense passion as both of their lips touched each other. They forgot everything about the world for that moment. All the angels and the devils tried to stop them, but they couldn't. They started doing this and that, and in the end, they started doing that. Stop! How far are you planning to narrate this story? Jae-ik is still underage, his dad shouts while blocking Jae-ik's ear. His mom replies that he is already 19, so it's foolish to remain ignorant. Additionally, she says that if they keep things hushed, like this, kids may end up with misconceptions. Finally, Jae-ik got to know the secret of his birth, but he is still quite puzzled. As he tries to escape that area, his dad stops him, saying that there's more to the secret. In the meantime, the previously seen trio appears in front of Mercurochrome. "Don't stand in my way," Mercurochrome shouts. He again repeats himself, but the boss of the group tries to act cool. "Do you think I would listen to that?" the short man replies. "Hey there, big guy. Would you mind stepping aside? Don't you know who my big brother is, and yet you still dare block the way?" two of the boys ask. His big brother, who is actually the little one in size, tells them to stop, as it seems that the big guy is new around here, so he suggests to give the guy some guidance. Mercurochrome, without lingering, punches the two in front, which creates a huge impact as they fly away, stirring up the wind. "Don't stand in my way," Mercurochrome repeats himself. The little guy gets angry as he asks that since a man should have some pride, whether it is all right if he stands beside Mercurochrome. Mercurochrome agrees that standing beside him is all right. "Why? Imp, how do I get to Happy Apartments?" he asks. The short guy replies that they can get there by taking a turn down this alley while pointing at the alley. After hearing this, Mercurochrome takes out his spear and smashes the building. He says that in his books there's no such thing as taking turns. For him, it is always straightforward. He says that if there is no road, then he will just build one because that is the way of the strong. For the first time, the short guy named Ushi Jim saw what true strength is, and since he thinks of him as a little demon, he intends to follow the big and strong. He is a man who is attracted to strength because he is a man who gives credit where credit is due. He again stands in front of Mercurochrome. Mercurochrome again warns him not to stand here. Ushi Jim bows down in front of Mercurochrome. "Hello, I will be your guide. Is it okay if I stand below you?" he asks. The demon replies that below is fine. Ushi Jim, who has now become a GPS, tells the demon to go straight for 500 meters. At Jae-ik's home, he asks whether there is still more to the story that he doesn't know of. His mom replies that they haven't told Jae-ik why he is so important and why is he considered significant just by being born yet. His dad volunteers to explain it properly so that Jae-ik can understand. He starts to explain by saying that news about a child born between Seraphim and Baal spread like wildfire in both heaven and hell. It stirred up thoughts of the ultimate Abraxas legend that was only passed down in ancient prophecies. Does the legendary, supremely powerful apex hybrid truly exist? Will a human at the age of 19 truly undergo an initial awakening and afterward achieve an unbeatable apex hybrid status after the grand awakening? If so, will this be on the side of the angels or the demons? The supremely powerful apex hybrid is just a legend inscribed in ancient texts. Where is the guarantee that he will indeed become an apex hybrid? Countless questions like these arose. The demons tried to take the child by saying that as the angels didn't believe the legend of the apex hybrid, they are not entitled to that power. The angels blamed the demons for talking nonsense and disagreed with their judgment. The angels denied it, by saying that as the child was born through the power of love, the angels should be the one taking care of him. The demons replied that the child is a product of passion, something unattainable by love alone. So the child will undoubtedly grow into a manifestation of desire and will along with the demons. While sharing this story, both of his parents, one who is an angel and the other who is a demon, starts to argue with each other in the name of heaven and hell. Jae-ik says that he had enough of the theatrics, so he tells them to cut to the chase. The demons suggested creating a contract, as an angel's words can't be trusted, and the angels agreed as they said that contracts don't lie demons. The contract was signed, and according to it, angels and demons will each assign a guardian to oversee and facilitate the child's growth. Until the child reaches the age of 19, any interference from angels and demons other than the guardians is prohibited. And so, leaving Jae-ik behind, a contract was drafted for the first time in the history of angels and demons. His mom is the guardian specified in the contract from the demon's side, and his dad is the guardian from the angel's side, and both of them raised Jae-ik on their behalf. Jae-ik finally understands that everything was a lie and realizes why Hanael and Scalpel appeared out of nowhere in his life. He shouts angrily that all his life up to this point was nothing but a lie. The angel guardian gets behind the demon's back. He tells Jae-ik not to be angry. The demon guardian replies that regardless, there's nothing they can do, and once Mercurochrome arrives, all of this will be over. At the same time, Ushi is leading Mercurochrome to the correct destination. He informs that they'll reach their destination as soon as they cross this crosswalk. Mercurochrome replies that the mention of crossing reminds him of his time in hell, when he had to cross the Styx River with nothing but his bare body. From that moment on, he had feared nothing. As Mercurochrome is walking the crossroad, a bus comes near and is about to hit him. He turns the bus upside down and says that it only tickled. Ushi witnesses as he falls in love with Mercurochrome's seemingly omnipotent power. Mercurochrome tells Ushi to lead the way. In the next moment, Hanael notices the Satan-class demon up from the sky. She says that she can't believe that demons actually sent a Satan-class demon, but it's expected from the low lives like the demons. Scalpel agrees with Hanael. He says that it's a bit too much, and the demons also requested reinforcements without even consulting him. But it's a pretty solid strategy, so Scalpel can't really object. He figured out that the demons are launching a psychological attack on Jae-ik from the inside, and then Satan comes in to finish the job in one fell swoop. You call yourself a guardian. Where in the world have you been till now, and how do you plan to protect Jae-ik then? He asks Hanael. He says that Jae-ik has been deeply wounded in his heart, and soon his body will be severely injured as well. At Jae-ik's home, anger is taking over him because now he knows the truth, that in the end he was treated not as a person, but a mere object. Mercurochrome, standing right outside Jae-ik's apartment, feels the wave of evil triggered by the sense of anger from a specific flat. He gets happy, pats Ushi's head, and says that he will make Ushi his subordinate when this mission is complete after gaining his freedom. He shouts that they will wreak havoc on this human world together as he jumps upward. At that moment, Hanael comes flying, and in order to black the demon, she uses Terra Shield, but it is ineffective as Mercurochrome easily shatters it into pieces. He says that the likes of him can't be stopped by a mere guardian angel. Hanael falls on the ground as she can't keep up her shield any longer. The demon breaks into Jae-ik's home. He laughs at Jae-ik, as he says that he feels sorry for Jae-ik to have such a small body, and he also feels sorry to hit a small person. He tells Jae-ik to watch as he creates a legend by taking down this apex hybrid in one fell swoop. "What are you laughing at?" Jae-ik asks as he rushes to punch the Satan-class demon. Mercurochrome. feels that Jae-ik's hands are tiny, yet powerful enough, as he falls on the ground. Jae-ik forgot what he was about to say, and he blames mercurochrome for it. Previously, when mercurochrome jumped, Ushi-jim thought that the summer of his life has arrived, marking the time when he finally met a wonderful man. It felt like a blessing, a treasure he discovered in the innocence of youthful summer. It was as if he had found an unbreakable diamond, but after seeing mercurochrome falling in just one punch, he turns his back on mercurochrome, saying that he prefers winter more than summer. The Guardian feels like he can't take it anymore and tries to run away, but Jae-ik starts to stop him by releasing a green aura. The Guardian Angel says that he has done everything he could do and his mission is now complete. The Guardian Demon tells Jae-ik to come back to his senses. Both of them then start to attack Jae-ik by jumping. The Guardian Angel says that, still, they do have affection for Jae-ik. After all, they're the ones who raised him. The Guardian Demon asks whether Jae-ik will disintegrate them, because they're just servants, a servant assigned to take care of him until he turns 19. Jae-ik's dad shouts at his mom while telling her not to stir things up further. Jae-ik, do you remember when Dad used to give you piggyback rides? His dad asks while sweating and sheds tears when he says that he worked hard regardless, as if Jae-ik were his real child. His mom, on the other hand, blames his dad for adding the fuel in the fire, and like this, they start to quarrel with each other, and things reach to divorce, and both of them decide to sign the divorce paper. Jae-ik shouts that he wants to see no one fighting or quarreling in front of him. Both the Guardians say sorry to Jae-ik. In the meantime, Scalpel and Hanael were seeing all the incidents from the window. Scalpel notices that the awakening level has spiked again. He sees that Jae-ik is already manipulating the awakening level as he pleases. Scalpel guesses that's a basic skill for the Apex hybrid. Hanael says that more importantly, things have gotten out of hand and there are many witnesses. The people in that area are wondering whether anyone died because they saw that someone was falling, and some of them also considered calling the police. Hanael realizes that they can't let people discover their true identities, including Jae-ik's. They need to restore the city and erase people's memories. Scalpel wishes her good luck on that. He says that he is more of a destroyer than a restorer. Hanael gets really pissed as she kicks Scalpel and orders him to clean up the trash. Hanael doesn't understand why she always has to clean up the mess that these demons recklessly create. To restore a situation of this magnitude, even if she uses all her energy, it might not be enough. But she has to at least try, because in her opinion, even if her body breaks, angels have to fulfill their duties. She starts to use the power of the Great Restoration to restore the city completely. On the contrary, Scalpel is clearing up the trash, otherwise known as the Satan-class demon. He criticizes the angel for being foolish because Hanael is using her power to erase the memory of the people who will eventually age and die. In his perspective, why should someone put so much effort into erasing the memories of mere mortals? He then opens up a portal to send Mercurochrome to hell and tells him to say hi to Lucifer on his behalf. After some time, the restoration was done, and the cracks were all gone, and the people also started forgetting their memories of this incident, and some of the people think of it as a nightmare. All these restoration and erasing the memories took a huge toll of Hanael's body as she starts to fall from the shy, but Scalpel catches her in the perfect time. "Are you into self-harm scams or something?" he asks Hanael, who is currently fainting due to exhaustion. He says that Hanael is a tiresome woman who is fainting, and in this state, if he let her fall into hell, he will have one less rival. He laughs as he says that Hanael might have forgotten that he is a demon as she dared to faint in front of him. He says that it is the end for her, while throwing her into hell. At Jae-ik's home, he picks up the family photo and wonders How has he lived until now and not noticed even once that all of these photos were fake? The piggyback rides, the amusement park, the picnics, the hot spring trips, even the Halloween parties. Everything until now was a lie, he cries as he processes the hardcore truth of his life in his mind. Did you really have to deceive me like that, with every detail so meticulously planned? He asks his pretend parents while crying. He was feeling anger, yet sadness at the same time. The demon guardian replies that they had no other option but to do it, because the moment they were found out, it would have been the end of their lives. Ye-ik thinks that he never doubted, not even once, the fact that they weren't his real parents, and it was not just him, but no one around him even noticed. At that moment, he realizes that if nobody noticed, including him, it can only mean one thing. That means they've raised me well, right? He thinks deeply in his mind. He starts to walk towards the guardians and holds both of their hands. He says thanks for raising him well. He states that the fact that no one has noticed or thought it was strange until now means that they raised him as well as any other parents. So Jae-ik suggests that they should continue being his mom and dad. After hearing this, both of them start to shout. They say that there is no need for that, because Jae-ik grew up on his own without being properly raised, and they also state that there are just contracted servants who simply worked hard, and they couldn't possibly do anything that would weigh on their conscience in their angelic and demonic life. They say that they don't want to work overtime and tell Jae-ik to forget all the past memories. Jae-ik grabs their hands tightly. He tells them that from now on, they will be staying here, with him. Both of them feel the pain in their hands. Jae-ik gets angry as he bites his tongue and tells them again to just keep on being his parents, as they have been, because he doesn't want to break up this family. His mom says that it's hurting while grabbing his father's hair due to the pain. At hell, a demon comes to free a prisoner. The prisoner says that it's his turn now. He says that he will commence his attack, and it will be a counterattack, so wishes the opponent to be extra careful. Both the demon and the prisoner are having a chat. The demon tells the prisoner to not waste his talent and suggests him to work in hell. "Are you trying to corrupt me?" the prisoner asks. He checks the level of his corruption using a thing like a compass. He sees that the color is still blue, and once it turns red, he will lose all of his angel qualifications. The prisoner is also known as the 3TN Order Archangel, Azrael, who is on the verge of corruption. The demon, who is Hell's strategic headquarters negotiator named Negojom, offers Azrael a position of strategic deputy commander of Hell's army. Additionally, he says that there are 5,000 miscellaneous mobs attached below it, and if Azrael agrees to come to Hell now, he'll appoint Azrael right away. After hearing the offer, Azrael tells Negojom to prepare another 5,000 minions. Negojom wants to negotiate, but Azrael refuses by saying that he is different from other angels, and he will not move unless there's a profit to make. He says that if he is going to fall from grace, it should be under good conditions, and once he becomes a demon, even if he falls, there's nowhere lower for him to go. Moreover, he says that he will sign the contract the moment he falls from grace, and when the 1,000 minions are prepared as proposed. Lastly, he says that as an angel, he still has duties left which he needs to complete and leaves that area. After some time, as he walks in hell, he says that every time he comes to hell, it's always a mess, although a little bit of remodeling would do this place wonders. He tells them to install some streetlights at least, and also, the strong sulfur smell is unbearable, according to him. It's a complete disaster. While walking, he comes across 2 demons. The demons notice that it's an angel and start to attack him. Azrael deals with them swiftly. He sighs as he says that these demons don't even recognize the person who will serve hell later. He kicks one of the demons backwards and another one upwards. He again kicks the small demon whom he threw upwards a moment ago. He notices that there's even a drunkard collapsed on the ground. He points out that anyone can see that it's a true hell here. At that moment, he saw an angel falling from the sky, and that angel was none other than Hanael. He thinks that Hanael might be a fallen angel, but he wonders what could have gone wrong for an angel to fall into hell. He then notices that this angel is the Apex Hybrid's appointed guardian angel. Does landing here mean they failed their mission? Does that mean I, who was appointed next, have a high chance of being summoned? He thinks deeply. In the next scene, we see Valhalla Canyon, a nearby small valley. In the past, Ninth Order Angel Civil Servant Aesthetic Cephacross was waiting in the waiting room for aspiring actors. Hello? Is this the waiting room for aspiring actors? Hell's 7th class. Demon Servant, Demon Intern, Demoniac asks. Both of them got shocked to see each other as an angel and a demon. At the time an announcement was made, the judge congratulated both of them on passing the document review. He said that from now on, they will have to go to the human world and act as a parent until the child grows up. The human world. Can we put on a proper performance in the human world where mortals are crawling around? Demoniac questioned. Cephacross agrees by saying that he wants to become a comedy actor, not a tragedy one. The person told them to listen to the end. He said that if they act for just 19 years, both of them will be brought back to heaven and hell, and after completing the mission, they will have the qualifications of regular angels and demons, not low-level demons and low-level angels. Moreover, depending on their acting skills, they will even receive additional points that will put them ahead of others in future promotions. Alas, both of them agreed in a heartbeat, and this is how they volunteered for the mission, but it turned out to be an extreme job. J-Ik looks at the news and laughs and says that it's so enjoyable to have a meal together as a family. Cephacross tries to run away by making an excuse to bring water for his thirsty son. J-Ik throws a chair at the wall in order to scare Cephacross. He says that he doesn't want water. Demoniac tells Cephacross to stay still and not to cause any trouble. Cephacross says that his body is floating anyway, so he has no choice but to stay still. He says that feels good as it's comfortable when J-Ik is being considerate of his dad again. J-Ik compliments his mom for making the fish cake as a side dish, which is actually really delicious. Demoniac replies that she actually ordered it and she can order it again if he wants. He says that he didn't clean his room today, so he tells his mom to please scold him by saying that the one who creates the mess should be the one to clean it up. His proxy mom replies that she wouldn't dare to scold an Apex Hybrid who is making a mess. She tells him that he can make a mess as freely as he wishes. After hearing this, J-Ik gets angry. He says that he wants to keep their family happy and tells them to cooperate a bit. After dinner, both the proxy parents are washing the plates. Demoniac says that the demon's plan failed because J-Ik even managed to take down Mercurochrome in one shot. Cephacross tells her not to worry because this time he secretly asked heaven for help. What kind of help can we get when even someone at Satan's level is being taken down in one shot? She asks. Then she sees a devilish expression coming out from an angel. At the same time, in heaven, Azrael carried Hanael to heaven. What's happening? Am I dead? Why am I in heaven? Hanael asks as she regains her senses. Azrael replies that it's natural for an angel to come to heaven, and as Hanael used up all of her powers because of a human, he regards her as very kind, yet a bit lacking. Hanael recognizes him as the First Order Archangel named Iriel. Azrael lies that he is not Iriel, and Iriel is his twin brother. At that moment, a higher-up angel announces from the sky that Iriel is no longer a First Order Archangel. He has become a Third Order fallen angel Azrael. Originally a First Order Archangel, but demoted to Third Order due to internal corruption because he almost lost his archangel status, but was allowed to retain his angelic rank as a matter of courtesy. The higher-up angel says that lately, he has been hearing strange rumors about Azrael, There's information that he is league with hell. Azrael replies that he was only there a few times for covert operations. Are you an archangel, collecting humans' wishes and selling them to demons? Azrael replies that it's just like being a white hat hacker. By the way, did you summon me to talk about this? He questions. The angel says that, as of now, Azrael will descend to the human world to assist in the awakening of the apex hybrid and bring them to heaven. Azrael says that he had a hunch, but he didn't expect this mission to come to him. Hanael asks the angel for the reason to send Azrael because this mission was supposedly hers. The angel replies that Hanael has failed her mission. As a result, from this moment on, she is to return to heaven and be confined in a special prison. A special prison, Hanael repeats. In the human world, Jayik is walking on the street while thinking that he has protected his family, and now he is truly going to live a completely ordinary life, as if nothing ever happened. He then sees that the sky is changing color. Huh? What is this? What is happening to the sky? He wonders and has a strange, ominous feeling about it. It's like what he witnessed previously, and he has a hunch that there's going to be another transfer student. After that, we can see the fallen angel Azrael gets admitted to Jayik's school. He gets in the classroom and introduces him to everyone. He tells all the students that they can freely call his Azra. After the introduction section is over, Azrael points his finger to the seat behind Jayik and tells that from today he will sit there. Jayik, seeing this new transfer student, and he feels very ominous feeling. Azrael then goes to his seat, and before sitting down, he says hello to Jayik, and directly asked if he is the apex hybrid. Hearing this, Scalpel gives an angry looks and asked Azrael that who told him to sit here. Azrael smiles and replies that he couldn't care less about a demon who's lost his touch. He also says that he is here because of this friend of his. Jayik then turns back and asked Azrael about Hanael. Ah, are you talking about that poor guardian? Azrael replies. Scalpel intervenes and tells that he has torn Hanael into pieces and sent her off to hell, and from now on they won't be seeing her face again. Torn to pieces? I found her passed out after her fall to hell and brought her back to heaven. She's likely detained in heaven's special prison by now, Azrael says. After that, we can see that Hanael is currently staying in the Heaven's Paradise special prison. She is resting on a lounger beside a swimming pool. She feels bored as she has nothing to do. At that time, a bald waiter comes and serves her an orange drink. She has been sentenced to live here for 20 years, and also she has to eat and drink continuously. She then looks at the girls in the pool and pities them for being sentenced to do this for 30 years. She then starts to drink and thinks that how long she has to be locked up here. Now, back to the classroom, the teacher is about to start the class. But before starting, he warns the students that if any phone rings during class, it will be confiscated with no exceptions. At the back, we can see Azrael is mocking Scalpel for tells lies whenever he opens his mouth. Scalpel feels annoyed as he didn't expect that Hanael will meet Azrael so soon. Jayik seems sad after hearing this, as he and Hanael was getting closer. After a while, Scalpel thinks something. He asked Azrael that, how can he go to hell as angels don't go there? Azrael replies that he occasionally goes there for business purposes. Scalpel gets shocked. Hearing this, so he asked Azrael that if he is a fallen angel. Hearing this, Azrael gets a bit nervous. He tells Scalpel that he hasn't fallen yet. He then takes a gauge meter from his pocket and feels relief, seeing that the meter is still in blue. Scalpel starts to feel weird, as an even strange guy has come. Azrael then asked Scalpel that if Jayik is really the apex hybrid, as he looks like an ordinary human. Scalpel replies that Jayik is human, but not as naive as he might think. While the two of them are talking, Jayik feels disturbed, so he turns around and tells them to keep quiet, as they are loud so everyone will hear them. The two of them ignores Jayik and continues their talk. Scalpel tells Azrael that Jack is astoundingly powerful, and he can even control his strength at will. Azrael tells that he wants to test Jack's skill, and saying this, he starts to take out the gun that is on his leg. How do you plan to test him? He crushed the destroyer of hell, Mercurochrome, in a single punch. No matter how much of an archangel you are, you might find it tough to go against him. Scalpel tells this to Azrael. Azrael points the gun at Jack. Scalpel gets scared and tells him to hold on as this is a bit too much. At that time, Jack turns around and tells them to stop their mouth. As Jack turns, Azrael fires the gun. Due to the huge sound, everyone in the class looks at them. As the gun fires, Jack stops the bullet with his hand and gets angry and tells them that they are so loud that it's disturbing his studies. Seeing this, both Scalpel and Azrael get shocked. The sound also grabs the teacher's attention, but he thinks that it is a phone ringtone, so tells the class to bring the phone to him. Outside the classroom, we can see two students are talking in the hallway. The healthy guy tells Tay that he has been acting weird these days. Tay gets angry and says that what is he saying? The healthy tells Tay that he has been acting like best friends with Jay. After he beat him up. After that, the healthy pads Tay's head, tells that he never knew that he has been hiding such a soft side of his. Tay tells him to cut it out. He then thinks of Jay and says that he is a good kid. Hearing this, the healthy gets angry and starts to shout at Tay. Azrael hears them talking and he goes towards Fatty and wraps his arm around his shoulder and says, "Who's talking about demotion here? And what's this about falling from grace? It seems we have a friend here who's a bit of an underdog. Why are you starting a fight with him?" Tay ignores Azrael and asked Fatty that what harm did he cause him by becoming friends with Jack. You can't just meddle in personal disputes. These guys run this school. Their bond is built on mutual respect and loyalty. Scalpel comes and says this. Seeing Scalpel, Fatty gets scared, and he tells them that Ty used to torment the school, but now he is acting like a saint. After that, Azrael takes out his blue wings and tells them that he is an angel who solves disputes among humans and lends an ear to their troubles. Normally, he shouldn't interfere in human conflicts, but would they like to try a forbidden solution today? Tay gets confused and asked for the forbidden solution. After that, Azrael starts to analysis and then research. After doing this, he gives the solution, but the solution didn't make any sense to the others. Later, Scalpel tells that they should not interfere with human emotions in a human way. Scalpel then uses his demon whispers on Fatty and provokes him to fight with Tay. Seeing this, Azrael tells Scalpel that the thing he has done now is called manipulation. Scalpel replies, "No," and says that he merely gave an opportunity for social climbing that was hindered by friendship. Azrael then uses his retweet of support magic and provoke Ty to fight Fatty. After that, the two of them starts fighting from Fatty's, and Tay's point of view they are fighting like pros. But Scalpel and Azrael gets bored by seeing this as the fight looks so lame from their point of view. In that time, Jack arrives at the scene. He sees that two people are brawling in the hallway. He goes towards them and grabs both of their shoulder with his both hands. He then raises them in the sky and tells them that if they do this here, they will disturb other people. After saying this to them, he goes to Scalpel and Azrael and shouts at them, as because of them, the teacher takes his phone and he has to go through a lot to get it back. After shouting at them, Jack goes to the classroom to take his notes. Azrael then tells Scalpel that Jack looks like a normal human kid, and when he fired the gun at him, Jack didn't show any kind of awakening. Scalpel then tells him that Jack's current awakening level is only 50%. And in the end, if he is not fully 100% awakened, both of their missions are doomed to fail. Scalpel also says that he tried various things to increase it, but it wasn't as easy as it seems. Azrael tells that the critical moment usually hits when someone has something precious to protect. I wonder what Jack considers most precious. Hearing this, Scalpel tells that recently, Jack found out that his parents are fake, but even then he has chosen to accept them as his real family. After hearing this, Scalpel gets that the weaknesses of J-Ik is his parents. So he suggests Scalpel that what if they target J-Ike's parents? Hearing this, Fatty Tay and Scalpel gets shocked. Azracel now explains Scalpel his plan. Azracel intends to take J-Ike's parents, and if J-Ik notices that his parents are under threat, he will surely come to rescue them, and in this process, if J-Ike's parents gets hurt, and if J-Ik sees this, his awakened powers would explode with unbearable anger. Hearing the plan, Scalpel tells Azracel that messing with J-Ike's family is a bit too much. Why? Didn't you want to hasten the awakening by stirring up the wave of evil more than anyone else? And they're not even his real parents anyway. Azracel gives a deadly look and says this. The other two students hear Azracel's plan and thinks that he is Satan, as the plan is really vicious. Scalpel also gets nervous by hearing the plan. He then asked Azracel that who is he, as his tactics is more demonic than a demon, and an angel will never use such demonic tactics. Of course, an angel should never do such a thing. Such despicable tactics are only suitable for demons. Azracel tells this to Scalpel. He further says that he cannot do this job, as if he does it his gauge might turn red. So he tells Scalpel to execute this plan and all the credit will belong to him. Scalpel makes a scary face and asked Azracel that if he is trying to give all the hard to him. On the other hand, we can see J-Ik is walking towards his home. While walking, he thinks about Azracel. As J-Ik now has a harmonious family, he wants to take care of them so that no harm comes to them. As J-Ik is walling, two men in black suits stops him and asked help from him. They asked J-Ik to show them the bus. Stop. J-Ik turns around and points his finger and tells them to go in that direction. At that time, one of the men launched an attack at J-Ik. J-Ik dodges it easily. The man then jumps backwards, and we can see the man has huge and sharp claws. The man then jumps towards J-Ik at lightning speed. Seeing this, J-Ik also takes a fighting stand, and he gently taps the man, and the man bursts, and Balak liquid comes out of the man's body. J-Ik gets shocked to see that a gentle tap from him explodes the man. Seeing this, the other guy takes off his helmet and throws it at J-Ik. Seeing this coming, so he just swings his hand to avoid it. But as the helmet hits his hand, it also explodes. J-Ik get confused to see that the attacks are so weak. Now, as the helmet is removed, we can see that the man is not a human, as he has a lizard face. The lizard man starts to shake in fear, as he didn't expect J-Ik to be so strong. J-Ik looks at the lizard man and finds his face ugly and says that he is just a typical low-level mob. The tour name of the lizard man is Zop Mob. This species is a very common lowest-level monsters in hell. The Zop Mob gets so afraid that it starts to run away. The direction in which the Zop Mob run is where J-Ik's house. Seeing this, J-Ik panics and starts to run towards his house. J-Ik rushes to his house and shouts for his parents, but he finds that no one is at home. He then looks around and sees that a note is stick on the fridge. J-Ik quickly garbs the note, but the language in which the note was written is unknown for J-Ik. As J-Ik is looking at the note at that time, a Zop Mob launches a sneak attack on J-Ik. As the Zop Mob attacks, J-Ik just swings his hand and it hits the Zop Mob's helmet and breaks it. The Zop Mob also explodes, and black ink gets on J-Ik's hand. J-Ik is still unaware of the Zop Mob, and he thinks that it was a mosquito. After that, another Zop Mob holding a sword tries to attack J-Ik. But this time J-Ik notices him, and by using his telekinesis power, he rises the Zop Mob in the sky and tells it to interpret the letter. The Zop Mob then takes the letter and starts to read. Your mom and dad have been kidnapped. If you want to find them, listen carefully to what I am about to say. Hearing this, J-Ik gets angry and garbs the Zop Mob's collar and asked him that where did they take his parents. Due to the power of J-Ik, the Zop Mob dies and explodes. The black ink gets all over him, but he is upset as he didn't get all of his answers. At that time, another Zop mob appears, and Jae-ik quickly uses his telekinesis powers and takes control over the Zop mob's body. He angrily asked the Zop mob that Ho staged this kidnapping. The Zop mob replies that they are demons and they won't sell their own kind. Hearing this, Jae-ik asked him that if Scalpel has sent them. The Zop mob replies that he won't tell him. After that, Jae-ik throws his school bag and gives some options, and asked the Zop mob that who sent him. The Zop mob then finally tells Jae-ik that Scalpel is the one. Hearing this, Jae-ik gets more angry as he feels that Scalpel has betrayed him and how dare he touches his family. Out of anger, Jae-ik garbs the neck of Zop mob and kills it. Jae-ik gets that he failed to control his power, and his eyes are glowing. After that, he clams down a bit and adjusts his glasses and remembers that he forget to ask where they took his mom and dad. Jae-ik then starts to search for any other left over Zop mobs. We can see that there is one Zop mob still hiding. This is the Zop mob that runs away from Jae-ik before. Jae-ik uses his powers and finds the last Zop mob. He uses telekinesis and drags the Zop mob in front of him. Jae-ik then wipes his face with a napkin and tells the Zop mob to tell him that where did they took his parents, or else he will see a bloodbath. The Zop mob starts to sweat out of fear, and he shows Jae-ik the location on his phone. Jae-ik watched the location carefully, and he again gets angry and starts to radiate his immense power. As he shouts, his aura outbursts, and from that alone, the Zop mob gets killed. After that, we can see in a ruined building, Jae-ik's parents are held captivate. We can see that Ushi Jim and his team is also there. Jae-ik's mom and dad tells Jim to quickly kill them. Because as they die, they will be able to leave this human world. As they are happily fantasizing their dead, at that time, Jae-ik comes there to save them. Seeing Jae-ik, both his parents gets upset behind them. Scalpel is watching this as he says that everything is going as planned. Azracel is also watching this with Scalpel. Scalpel says that Azracel's prediction is impressive as Jae-ik comes so quickly to rescue his parents. It's just human nature. They're wired to react quickly when their desire for revenge is triggered. Azracel tells this to Scalpel. He also further praises Scalpel for involving a human in this. Scalpel replies to Azracel that he is a demon, and there's no way he can be seen receiving orders from an angel in the eyes of others, and that's why he has done this kidnapping using a human. So you've handed the contract to a subcontractor? Azracel asked. Scalpel replies that it's more about the redistribution of labor. Saying this, Scalpel uses his magic to control Yimp and tells him that he is the master of evil deeds. Yimp cannot resist the power to Scalpel, and so his mind gets controlled. On the other hand, Jae-ik starts to walk towards his parents. He has a very serious look. As he steps on the ground, a pale green hand comes out of the ground and garbs Jae-ik's leg. Seeing this, Jae-ik gets scared and he starts to drag his leg. As he drags his leg, a green monster comes out of the ground. After that, the same species of monster starts to come out of the ground like mummies. Seeing the monsters, Jae-ik gets that they are low-level mobs. The monster then launch their attacks at Jae-ik. One of the monsters jumps and holds Jae-ik from behind. Seeing this, all the other monsters also jump towards Jae-ik. Jae-ik panics a bit as he slaps the monster on his back. It instantly gets killed and explodes, and black ink gets spread on his shoulder. As Jae-ik looks in front, he sees that a monster has come close to his face and is about to bite him. Jae-ik responds quickly and slaps the monster, saying that its breath stings. As the slap hits, the monster explodes immediately. Seeing the power of Jae-ik, the other monsters get scared and starts to sweat. Now Jae-ik raises his leg, and the monster that was holding his leg gets dragged out of the ground and flies high on the sky. As the monster is about to fall on J. Ike's head, J. Ike clap his hands and kills the monster like we kill mosquitoes. As the monster explodes, bulk ink overs J. Ike's face and hands. Oh, disgusting! J. Ike then looks in front and sees that a whole lot of monsters are crawling out of the ground. Azrael and Scalpel is watching is seen from behind a glass room. Seeing this, Azrael tells Scalpel that this mobs are too easy for J. Ike. Scalpel replies that, rather than a large monster loudly growling in front of you, a swarm of tiny mosquitoes disturbing your sleep is more irritating. He also further says that J. Ike's composure sure is beyond imagination, but even for the apex hybrid faced with the swarm of mosquitoes, one can't help but feel anger. On the other hand, J. Ike is kill all the monster easily. He gives a row of slaps and kills tons of the monsters. J. Ike also uses dance moves to kill the monsters, and within a few minutes he was done killing all the monsters. Seeing this, Scalpel gets nervous. The little Yimp also sees this and feels scared. The Yimp realizes that kidnapping was a bad idea, and he slowly starts to get out of Scalpel mind control magic. Seeing this, Scalpel again used his magic and make Yimp totally under his control. Now the Yimp becomes totally demonic, and he laughs and tells that he will make J.I.K. have a taste of hell. Saying this, he raises J.I.K.'s parents up. J.I.K.'s mom and dad shouts out of pain. The Yimp looks at them with red eyes and says that, if things stay this way, J.I.K.'s parents will slowly die while being hung. The Yimp's subordinates get scared to see his demonic act. J.I.K. sees this, and he gets super angry, and out of anger, his aura starts to leak. He threatens that he will absolutely not forgive them. Seeing this, J.I.K.'s parents shout and tells him not to come here. The subordinates of the Yimp tells him that he has gone too far. The Yimp makes a scared face and tells them, and this is the true taste of a demon. But inside, the Yimp is very scared, and he cannot collect his thoughts because of Scalpel's magic. J.I.K. looks at his parents and says that he will definitely save them. Hearing this, his parent screams and begs him not save them. Azrael is seeing this, and after a while he asked Scalpel that if this is his last card. Scalpel panics a bit and says that he is sure that J.I.K.'s anger will explode and unleash more awakening. Azrael then turns around and says that if a more life-threatening monster attacked the hanging parents, it would be more effective. Hearing this, Scalpel thinks that this is a brilliant idea. He also questioned Azrael that how did HR come up with such a plan? He would even put Satan to shame. And where do these demonic ideas come from? Azrael tells Scalpel to shut up, and his gauge is going down. After that, Scalpel uses his summoning magic and summons the man-eating monster Tremos. After that, a giant centipede-like monster comes out of the ground. The monster has a huge mouth with tons of sharp, pointed teeth. The monster is about to eat J.I.K.'s parents. J.I.K.'s parents sees this and feels happy as they think that this is the bus that will take them to their home. The monster opens his mouth widen and rushed to eat them. Seeing this, J.I.K. starts to run at full speed. Seeing him running, his parents gets upset and tells him not to approach them. J.I.K. ignores their screams and jumps towards the mouth of the monster. He jumps and gets inside the monster's mouth. Seeing this, his parents get shocked. The monster closes its mouth and tries to swallow J.I.K. After a while, the monster starts to shake, and its mouth bursts open. J.I.K.'s mom sees this and gets afraid. After that, we can see J.I.K. is completely fine. He is covered in saliva, and he is holding the mouth of the monster. Open J.I.K. then looks at his mom and dad and tells them to clock out. Hearing this, his mom and dad gets confused. On the other hand, Azrael and Scalpel is also nervous to hear this. After that, we can see Angel Henael in Heaven's Paradise, special prison. She is chilling in a pool. While she is sitting on a chair, at that time, a bald waiter comes to her with a plate of food and says that this salad, made with a base of romaine lettuce, avocado, and arugula, is served with a 2+ grade sirloin steak. As Henale sees this, she tells the waiter that she didn't order anything. The waiter stands still without saying a word. Henale seems a bit troubled. She asks the waiter that if she can't stop eating. Now the waiter replies that that's not an option. The waiter also says that she is currently in a state of excessive happiness. Hence, stopping is out of the question. The punishment that Henale has received is to eat without stopping. As the bald waiter finishes his words, his head shines brightly and it hurts Henale's eyes. So she turns around and thinks that, if she continue to stay here, she won't just fail to protect Jae-ik, but she will also become morbidly obese. After that, Henale tears a strand of hair, and as the bald waiter is about to leave, she calls him and shows him that there is a hair in her food. Seeing this, the waiter gets shocked, and he takes the plate and goes to the other waiters and starts to scold them. At that time, Henale takes a cloth and wraps it around her shoulder and starts to escape from this place. As she is about to escape, she sees that the whole place is sealed with a barrier. She then asked God for forgiveness, and after that her hand starts to shine. Later, a yellow color sharp thing comes on her hand, and with that she cuts the barrier smoothly. After that, she spreads her blue wings and gets out of that place at full speed. On that other side, we can see Jae-ik's mom and dad ask Jae-ik that, what does he mean by clock out? Jae-ik gives a deadly look and replies that it's time for them to stop living this life and go back. He also says that it seems like dangerous situations keep arising because of him, and he has given it a lot of thought that holding on to his parents any longer is nothing but his selfishness. He then thanks his parents for being there for him for the past 19 years, and the best way he can repay them is by setting them free. After that, Jae-ik smiles brightly and tells them thanks for being his parents all this while. Hearing this, Jae-ik's parents starts to cry. Seeing this, Jae-ik requests them to disappear from his sight and go back to their home. Seeing this, Scalpel thinks of Jae-ik as a dutiful son. Azracel also thinks that Jae-ik is an angel, that he is giving a painless death to his parents. Jae-ik then opens the monster's mouth widen and tells his parents to slide down, and they will reach the afterlife in no time. The little Yimp is holding the ropes, and he feels guilty for doing these things to such a peaceful family. But due to Scalpel's demon pepper, he is unable to express his real intentions. Yimp thinks that after he escaped from this demon whispers, he will live a life of repentance. At that time, the demon whispers activates, and the Yimp crises, and unwilling says to Jae-ik that he will not escape from his grasp. Jae-ik's mom starts to think, and after a while she speaks up and says that she has decided. His dad also says the same. Jae-ik's dad then shouts and says, Jae-ik, you are the child born from my heart. No matter what anyone says, you are my son. I'll work overtime forever. No, I'll live with you. Jae-ik's mom also says that if he is okay with a mother like her, she also want to remain as his mother. Jae-ik gets confused and asks them that what they means. His parents replies that they want to remain as his parents. Hearing this, Jae-ik gets emotional, and he also smiles brightly. Seeing this emotional scene, the Yimp cries heavily. After that, Jae-ik gets serious and says that it's time for retribution. Saying this, he breaks all the teeth of the monster and jumps from its mouth and lands on the ground. He then looks at the monster with his deadly eyes and says that how dare it tries to prey on his family, saying he punched the monster. Getting hit, the monster starts to vomit. Black ink from its mouth. Jae-ik punches continuously, and the monster vomits the black liquid. The monster starts to shake, but Jae-ik's anger was at his peak. He didn't stop his punches. After a while, he launched a powerful blow, and the monster gets pushed back. He then uses his agility and punched the monster from all sides. Seeing this scene, Scalpel and Azrael gets nervous as they cannot fathom how strong Jay-Ik really is. After taking all the punches, the monster is on his deadbed. It starts to fall on the ground. Seeing this, Jay-Ik stops and tells them not to belittle his family ever again. After that, Jay-Ik looks at the Yimp. The Yimp gets scared from his glare. But due to the effects of demon whispers, he speaks up and says to Jay-Ik that he is not scared of him. As the monster falls on the ground, Jay-Ik starts to walk towards the Yimp and says that the mastermind behind this kidnapping must face the consequences of his wicked actions. Hearing this, the Yimp and his subordinates starts to shake. The Yimp's subordinates tells him that this is the end of their carrier. The Yimp replies that this time he really regret it, and if he survives today, he will stop all his bad works. At that time, Azrael comes behind the Yimp and says, "Don't be scared. I'll transfer a strong power to you, so fight against him." Saying this, Azrael put his hand on the Yimp's shoulder and starts to transfer his powers. He then tells the Yimp that, with the power from Scalpel combined with his, he can certainly match up to Jay-Ik. As the blue aura cover the Yimp's body, he feels that he is becoming overwhelming strong. As Azrael performs this act, his gauge meter starts to go down. It is about to enter the red area. After the power transfer is over, the Yimp gets in front of Jay-Ik at super fast speed. Jay-Ik gets shocked to see this. The Yimp changes completely. He gets a red iron on his arm. In his head there are little horns. He radiates blue aura, and his face has become much handsome. He says that he has never experienced this kind of power. Jay-Ik looks serious and says that it's noisy. He also increases his aura and his eyes glows green. He tells the Yimp that he has to face the consequences of his sin. Saying this, Jay-Ik throws a punch at the Yimp. The Yimp dodges it easily. Jay-Ik punch another time, but this time also, the Yimp dodges it. He also mocks Jay-Ik, saying that he is not that much powerful. Now Jay-Ik gets angry, and he throws a powerful punch, and lucky this time, the punch directly hit on the Yimp's stomach. Getting hit, the Yimp vomits blood, and he flies away and hits a wall and gets unconscious. The collision was so powerful that it leaves a huge dent on the wall. Seeing this, Azrael gets behind Jay-Ik and tells him that he has something to say to him. He tells Jay-Ik that he left his door open when he came here, so he closed it to prevent any potential theft. Hearing this, Jay-Ik thanks him. Azrael now looks at the gauge and sees that the meter has turned to blue again. After that, he keeps the gauge in his pocket and goes towards the Yimp. He now transfers more power to the Yimp. As the power gets transferred, the Yimp gets up and says that he feels that his strength has gone up by twice. The Yimp rushed towards Jay-Ik at lightning speed and punched on his chin. As the punch lands, Jay-Ik's chin gets cut and starts to bleed. Jay-Ik's mom and dad is still hanging, and now they are feeling very hungry. As the punch lands currently, Jay-Ik gets pushed back and he noticed that something is happening with his sight. He is only seeing the after images of his opponent, and he is having trouble controlling the distance as well. After landing the punch, Ushi-Jim tells Jay-Ik that he is a weakling and he should throw away his title of the Apex Hybrid. Jay-Ik gets angry, and while approaching Ushi-Jim, he says that he doesn't feel guilty at all after doing all of this. Jay-Ik rushes forward to punch him. Ushi-Jim stands proudly and tells him to come at him. Jay-Ik now gets closer and launched his first punch, saying that this punch is for his mom. Ushi-Jim dodges the punch easily and casually starts to talk. Ushi-Jim says that in the past, he used to make money by getting hit, but now even he wants to get hit, he can't. Jay-Ik then launched his second punch, which is from his dad, but this time, also, Ushi-Jim avoided it. Jay-Ik gets desperate. He kicks Ushi-Jim, and it was for Hanale. Ushi-Jim steps aside and dodges the kick. Scalpel and Azrael is watching their fight. Scalpel speaks up and says that Ushi Jim is amazing as he is unfazed by such an attack. Every time JX's attack fails, the surroundings rapidly turn into a vacuum. It's as if a black hole nearby is consuming everything. If Ushi Jim had been just 1 cm closer, his body would have been crushed to pieces. JX's punches are making huge explosions behind Ushi Jim, but Ushi Jim is completely unaware of it. Scalpel asked Azracel that what kind of power did he infuse Ushi Jim with? No big deal, just a minor buff, Azracel replied. Then where did this fearless courage come from? Scalpel questioned. Azracel tells him that ignorance gives Ushi Jim courage, and he is brave because he's unaware. JX is continuously attacking Ushi Jim, but he gets frustrated as none of his attacks landed on Ushi Jim. After all this dodging, Ushi Jim attacks, and it lands on JX's face. JX flies away and falls on the ground. Seeing this, Ushi Jim says that he feels a twinge of guilt, about a gram, having to use his intense power on a high school kid who can't even land a punch on the opponent in front of him. Ushi Jim is showing his rough side on the outside, but inside he is very scared, as he can guess that JX is hiding a much stronger power, and if he awakens it, a mob monster like him will be crushed in no time. Ushi Jim's inner voice tells him to run away, but due to Scalpel's magic, he is unable to do so. The subordinates of Ushi Jim get surprised to see this dominating side of his and thinks that their Hyung has lost his true self. JIK gets up and he starts to think that why can't he land any attack on his opponent? The opponent is not fast enough for him to unable to track, but the thing is that JIK only sees lingering images. Ushi Jim give a nice pose and says to forget his previous self as from now on, he is a bloodthirsty super-killing machine, Ushi Jim. Seeing this, his subordinates get scared and says that the ugly face of Thier Hyung still remains the same. JIK gets angry and he says that he will never let that ugly face go. JIK then says that he sees an opening. Saying this, he shoots a neon color beam. The beam goes straight towards Ushi Jim, but before hitting him, the beam curves and it just barely scratched the head of Ushi Jim. Ushi Jim's hair has gone from one side, and the beam hits the ceiling, and an explosion occurs. Ushi Jim starts to power up, and he says to JX that he is going to show his new ultimate technique. Saying this, he rushed towards JX. As Ushi Jim is running, his feet hits a small stone, and he is about to fall on the ground, but somehow B maintains his balance and charged in whirling around. JIK gets shocked that he is unable to move. Ushi Jim gets closer and punched JX on his face. After that, Ushi Jim jumps on the wall, and from that high level, he flies away and kicks JX in the abdomen. The impact was so powerful that JX flies away. Seeing this, Ushi Jim's subordinates shouts and says that their Hyung has absolutely smashed it, and they also support his new chapter of their Hyung's life. JIK hits a wall and the wall gets crack on it. While whipping the blood on his face, JIK asked Ushi Jim that what he has done to deserve this. Hearing this, Ushi Jim stays silent as this was all his fault. JIK recovers a bit, and then he starts to search for his glasses. While he is searching at that time, he feels a pain in his eyes, and his eyes starts to glow. He looks forward and sees that his vision is blurry. But after a while, his vision gets super clear. JIK gets that the reason for the after image was because of his glasses weren't right. And now, as his glasses are off, he can see crystal clear. Scalpel and Azracel also gets the reason that why he was unable to land any hit. Azracel says that during the fight his awakening occurs, which improves his strength and eyesight. Azracel also says that if things goes on like this, the full awakening is only a matter of time. He then looks at the gauge and sees that it is very close to the red line. What? Because of the glasses. So do you think you can land a hit on me properly now? Those who can't fight always blame their tools. Ushi. Jim says this while poking his nose. After that, Jim gets serious and says Jae-ik that he will finish him with his punch. Jae-ik eyes glows, and he looks at Jim with his eyes even wider, and now he can see everything. He can also see the weak points of the opponent. Jae-ik gets that Jim's full body is filled with weakness. Jim has vitamins and intelligence deficiency, he has a weak heart and a weak body, and he is a lefty. Jim rushed and punched Jae-ik. Jae-ik stops his punch with a single hand. He then gives a deadly look at Jim and tells him to stop, or else he will die. Jim gets scared as he can feel the wind of hell from Jae-ik. Jim lost his mind and starts to babble. Jae-ik cannot tolerate anymore, so he gives a nice slap to Jim. As the slap lands, Jim's nose starts to bleed, and he gets a fingerprint on his face. The slap is so powerful that Jim flies away. He hits the ceiling and breaks it, and hits a building and cracks it. He, again, hits another building and cracks it. After that, he gets on the road and rolls on the road and hits a wall and stops. He is just like a rubber ball. After all of this, he stands still on the footpath. He takes out his phone and starts to talk with his mother. He does this to ignore the attention of the public. Whoo! That was impressive. Have you finally achieved an awakening beyond human limitation? Azrael steps up and says this to Jae-ik. He then raises his hand and tells Jae-ik that if he is really in the process of awakening as an apex hybrid, he should be able to easily block an attack of this level. Saying this, he gives a deadly look at Jae-ik, with his eyes glowing blue. Jae-ik gets shocked after hearing this. Azrael then downs his hand and says, "Judgment light." After that, the sky turns bright golden. Later, a golden beam pierced the clouds and directly gets through the ceiling hole and hits Jae-ik. As the beam hits Jae-ik, he falls on the ground and screams in pain and says that his body is being pushed endlessly downward. Azrael then comes and stands in front of Jae-ik. He tells that the precious light of the holy light is the purest of lights, apex. Hybrid, you are half demon, and anyone who has even a bit of demon's blood flowing in them will eventually never be able to bear the weight of the holy light. Another light appears on the sky beside the golden beam. It also lands on the warehouse, beside Azrael. As the light lands, Azrael gets scared. We can see a human figure in the light as we get closer. We can see it is none other than our cute Henale. Henale hair gets white, and she seems fired up. She makes a sword out of her aura and cuts the ropes of Jae-ik's mom and dad. She then looks angrily at Scalpel and asked him that if all of this is his doing. Scalpel replies no and says that he is just a subcontractor. Jae-ik's parents land safely on the ground, and now they are relieved. After that, Azrael starts to talk. He wants to test the strength of the light, so he just touches his fingers in the light. As soon as his fingers comes in contact with the light, he quickly gets dragged into the ground. Henale and Scalpel gets shocked as Azrael gets dragged into the ground so fast that it's like teleportation. Azrael is falling, and he uses his hands and aura to grab onto the ground, but as he gets down, he hits an underground train and gets on it. Later, as the train stops at a station, Azrael gets out and his clothes and hair are all messed up. Everyone at the station is looking at him due to his messed up looks. He finds it embarrassing, so he walks quickly. As he didn't have a train pass, so he used his swift movements and passed the station beside other person. As he passed the station, he starts to walk, but he feels that something is sucking his feet. He then looks down and sees that his feet has been gone to the ground by a mysterious blue light. He panics a bit and quickly takes his gauge meter. But as he about to look at it, he gets dragged into the ground. The gauge meter falls on the ground and opens, and we can see the meter turns red. The people at the station gets confused to see this. At that time, a boy says that if you ride for free, you're going to hell. On the other side, we can see Jae-ik falls. He keeps his eyes closed as he is unable to do anything. After a while, he gets out from the other side of the earth. He quickly gets up and takes a fighting pose. He then looks around the surrounds and gets shocked. He couldn't believe it and thinks that as he has been dragged in the ground, so he must be in hell. He then looks at his clothes and sees that they are all covered in dirt. At that time, Jaik hears a voice coming from his behind. He turns around and sees that a man with dark black eyes and hair is calling his name. The man smiles at him and says that it is a coincidence that he has met Jaik here. He also says that he has heard that Jaik is an apex hybrid, but it seems he is not that smart. He then tells Jaik that this place is on the exact opposite side of the earth from where he came. Jaik then asked who is he and if he knows him. I've been desperately searching for you for a long time. I am avaying like an angel, you might say. My name is Lucifer. The man says this. While the man is saying this, Jaik remembers that he quickly need to go back as his mom and dad are in danger. But now Jaik is confused, as he didn't know how to go to his parents. At that time, Lucifer gives Jaik a plane ticket to Korea and says that he can come with him. Jaik is tired and he is sweating while walking with Lucifer. He asked him that who is he really. Lucifer didn't reply and says that they should walk fast as they are in hurry. On the other hand, around the warehouse, lots of people has gathered there because of the golden light. People starts to talk about it. Some says that this is the work of an angel. At that time, Heenail and Scalpel gets behind the gathered crowd. Heenail curses Azrael for doing this and taking a leave as she has to handle this now. Heenail starts to approach people and uses her magic of brainwashing on them. She makes everyone forget about this incident and sent them home. After cleaning up, she asked Scalpel that if he know where Jaik went to. Scalpel replies that everything happened so fast that he lost track. Hearing this, Heenail says that she will fly towards the source of this pillar of light, as she must get rid of it first, as said. She starts to fly towards the light's end, leaving Scalpel behind. Heenail flies at high speed, and as soon as she gets above the clouds, she gets shocked to find out that this pillar of light is coming from the home of a first-order archangel. In the meantime, Azrael is fall towards the hell. As Azrael gets in hell, he falls on a chair. In front of him is sitting another demon named Negojom. Seeing him, Negojom laughs and says that it's quite a pitiful for an archangel of the third order to fall in hell. Azrael panics and says that they should negotiate as there might be balance control failure. Even a swift one like you seems pathetic when cornered. You should have listened when I tried to recruit you nicely. No more negotiation, especially for someone who lost their angelic status and fell into hell. Negojom tells this to Azrael. Hearing this, Azrael begs Negojom to negotiate, and if he release him, he promises to repay him. Only an angel on the brink of corruption has value. An angel who has already fallen is futile, even in hell. Negojom says this. Azrael asked Negojom to let him do a small good deed to turn the corruption gauge blue, and if he helps him, he'll give him more than 5,000 low-ranked angels. Negojom replied that he is not interested in that, and also, as he is a demon of hell, he has no intention of helping him. He also tells Azrael to just enjoy his own throne, since it's come to this. Azrael's throne and his aren't that different. The only difference is he can move, but Azrael can't. Negojom then gets up from his throne and tells Azrael to just sit tight and watch TV for about 1,000,000 years. He will let him watch whatever he wants. Azrael gets depressed and starts to watch the TV. On the other side, Jaik and Lucifer gets onto the plane. Jaik thanks Lucifer for buying him new clothes. Lucifer tells Jaik that this French school uniform suits him well. As Lucifer is about to introduce him again at that time, Jaik gets excited, seeing the plane fly. After that, Lucifer feels hungry, so he calls the air hostess to bring to ramen noodles for them. The hostess bring the ramens and give them. The ramen looks so delicious that Jaik starts to eat without saying anything. While Jae-ik is eating, Lucifer tells him that he may not realize the extent of what he possesses. He also tells Jae-ik not to let satisfaction stop him and desire more, yearn for more. He will plant the seed of desire in him, and he will make his desires burn hotter. In hell, Azrael is already bored because there's nothing to do there. He can't believe that he is falling into corruption in such a pathetic manner like this. If he spends too much time here, he'll lose any means to raise his corruption gauge, and if that happens, he might even lose his status as an angel. He wishes to find a way to solve this, and then he decides to check out the human realm channel. He sees Jae-ik and thinks that if he helps Jae-ik, he will be able to refill his gauge quickly, but currently, Jae-ik is sitting with a person who seems quite familiar. Who is that sitting next to him? Do I know him? He wonders. The person sitting next to Jae-ik introduces herself as Lucifer, who has neither any affiliation nor rank. Jae-ik asks whether she is famous. Lucifer replies that she is somewhat. She says that she has been waiting for Jae-ik, and now that she has finally met him, what truly matters is that they're here together. She says that as the one destined to be an apex hybrid, she will bestow upon him a spear and a shield. Your gifting items, Jae-ik questions. Lucifer answers that it's not like that. It's actually more than that. She intends to give everything she possesses to Jae-ik. She then raises her hand to get more chocolates for Jae-ik. Jae-ik says that he doesn't understand why she is being so kind to him, but he tells her to stop doing that because he has already rejected the fate of the apex hybrid. Moreover, Hena has been treating him well. Lucifer asks by saying Hena whether he is referring to the guardian angel Henael. She adds that a guardian angel can do nothing rather than protecting you. Lucifer says that she respects Jae-ik's choices, what he wishes to do, who he wishes to be with. Everything depends on his decision, and she is here to assist him in reaching it. Additionally, she will bestow him with a powerful desire to achieve everything he wishes for. She tells him that what he wants to do with that desire, he can decide it later. She again tells him to yearn more and crave more. In hell, Azrael was watching all of it. Jesus! Did I see that right? Lucifer is sitting next to Jae-ik and is trying to sway him right now, he thinks. This is getting dangerous, and it seems like Jae-ik has already halfway succumbed to Lucifer's temptation. This is really teetering Azrael on the edge. In the human realm, Henael notices the origin of the light. She politely knocks the aircraft. Ah, an angel? How did she know I was here? A girl sitting inside the aircraft asks. Henael requests her to switch off the light. The girl says that she literally can't believe this as she was so focused on other things that she completely forgot. She was wondering how a low-ranking angel could find this place. Henael says that she knows her. She introduces her as the First Order Archangel named Mika. Mika says that it's been a while since she has been addressed by that title. To refer to her as an archangel, a retired angel, secluding within this secular realm is not good. So she permits Henael to just call her Lady Micah, as she is not really assigned any official duties. Could it be that Micah is also looking for the apex hybrid? Henael asks while worrying. Micah again tells Henael to call her Lady Mika and asks by apex hybrid whether she is referring to that entity from the legends. Micah says that she might have been interested if it were about unicorns or dragons, but she really doesn't put much stock into such fairy tales. Then why did you pass the judgment of light? Henael questions. Misha answers that it's a pact that when a higher angel requests assistance from below, they provide unconditional supportive fire. So, Misha isn't interested in Jae-ik. Henael again asks for reassurance. Misha answers that she neither knows who Jae-ik is, nor does she have any sort of interest in him, because her only focus is to find a particular person who is the embodiment of evil, and whom she must obliterate. Henael asks whether Mika is using that scope attached in her aircraft to find that person. Yes, are you interested? Would you like to take a look? Misha asks. Finally, Hanael got to see the legendary scope that can supposedly find anyone. Misha says that while she doesn't believe in legends, she still has a liking for legendary items, and if they're on the surface, she can find anyone. Then, could you find my friend J-Ik? Hanael requests. Misha asks whether he is a human. Hanael replies that he is human, who disappeared after getting hit by the light of judgment. Misha gets shocked while wondering how a human can be alive after that. She says that if a human was hit by the judgment of light, they would have been long dead by completely disintegrating into dust. Hanael replies that the attack might be potent, but it's still not enough to turn J-Ik into dust. Huh? Then what kind of human is he? Misha asks. She says that if J-Ik is that resilient, then maybe she could be a little interested. Hanael doesn't like the idea of that. At the emergency medical center, a group of gangsters has come to visit Ushi Jim, who is currently hospitalized. The gang leader barges into the room to see Ushi Jim, who he regards as his big brother. The nurse tells him that the patient needs absolute rest. He goes near Ushi and asks what the hell happened to him to make him completely incapacitated. Tell me! What was his condition when he was admitted to the emergency room? He shouts at the nurse. The nurse replies that Ushi used a taxi and walked into the hospital on his own. He informs that the patient has opted for our hospital's top-tier absolute rest package. That isn't an oxygen mask, it's aromatherapy sleep gas. The package also includes 3 organic meals a day and lullaby services. He tells them not to disturb the patient because if the patient wakes up, he won't be able to sleep tonight. The gang leader cries as he recalls that Ushi Jim has always been his mental pillar, but now he's in a vegetable state. The nurse intervenes, saying that he is not a vegetable, though. The gang leader says that the reason he could level up as a nation-level gangster was because his brother Ushi Jim had a big influence on him. Because of Ushi Jim, the leader of the nation Double Dragon was arrested accusing him of assault and murder. After cleaning up the last Double Dragon gang, they finally conquered the nation, and he couldn't have achieved this without his brother's self-sacrifice. That's the kind of person Ushi Jim was, a kind person who knows nothing but self-inflicted threats. In the past, Ushi Jim was a cool person according to them, and they vow to help him whenever he needs it. The gang leader says that Ushi Jim is a man who has lived his entire life through self-harm blackmailing. There's no way he could be in this state just from a few punches. So, National Charismatic Explosion Gank Number 1, Hanma Bak orders the others to find the culprit as they must avenge their beloved brother. From the aircraft, Misha and Hanael located Ushi Jim. Misha asks whether he is the friend whom Hanael is looking for. Hanael replies, saying no. You said you were the guardian angel of your friend named J-Ik? Why are you trying so hard to find him when the human didn't even make a request first? Misha questions. Hanael replies that she chose to be a guardian angel as part of his heavenly duty. But J-Ik is defenselessly exposed among those filled with excessive desires. And if not for her, there's no other angel to protect J-Ik. Misha located Scalpel and asks whether he is the one. Hanael replies that this person is just a demon, not J-Ik. Misha thinks deeply and concludes that if J-Ik was hit by the judgment of light, which could even penetrate the earth, and if he didn't perish, then he likely ended up on the opposite side of the earth, maybe somewhere in France. So she decides to move above France in order to look for him. She starts finding to the most likely place possible. Suddenly, the mood around them changes and becomes serious as Mika tells Hanael not to let her personal emotions darken her judgment because guardian angels sometimes forget their duties and become too involved with humans. She advises Hanael that whenever this kind of situation arises, she must remember that she is a heavenly apostle, and it's her duty to pursue objective justice. Misha then finds J-Ik in a place. She says it was hard to find him because the plane was floating above the sea. Additionally, she says that it's a lucky day for Hanael to find his friend this quickly. But then, she starts sweating. Why is the one I've been looking for sitting next to him? Misha asks. She says that she has finally found Lucifer. She starts to transform as she says that in the name of Archangel Michael, she declares right here and right now that she will execute Lucifer and obliterate her soul. At that time, Azrael's corruption gauge with wings falls into Scalpel's hands. What's this? Scalpel thinks. Then, suddenly, he hears the voice of Azrael. Scalpel says that he thought Azrael had gone diving. Azrael replies that he has descended somewhere even deeper than that, a place where even the voices of heaven can't reach. Luckily, he left his corruption gauge behind. But he didn't know it had a communication function. He tells Scalpel to listen carefully. He says that he was on a heaven mission to bring J-Ik in, but he ended up crossing a dangerous line and fell into hell instead. Scalpel says that it's good news because he was planning to send Azrael to hell himself, but Azrael got there on his own. How does it feel to fall into hell, a paradise of underfloor heating with a fully functioning lava boiler? Scalpel asks. Azrael replies that his body feels so hot it's driving him nuts. And the problem is what comes next, because J-Ik, who went to the opposite side of the earth, has met Lucifer, who is a boy. Lucifer? J-Ik met him? My favorite idol? Did J-Ik really? Scalpel asks rapidly. Azrael replies that the important part is what happens next, because the operator whose support he requested was Michael. In short, Misha, the First Order Archangel. Michael? That ruthless, scary, terrifying person? Scalpel questions. Azrael again replies that the important part comes next, and it's that Michael has found Lucifer. Scalpel gets frustrated as he asks Azrael, why does the important always come next? And Michael meeting Lucifer, how is this even relevant? Azrael shares that a very long time ago, when he was still a First Order Archangel, he met Michael once. He greeted Michael while eating. Misha told him that his future is quite unclear because she smells the stench of a bat standing on the boundary of good and evil. She said that there was also an angel who kept doing the same as Azrael, and that fallen angel will have to hide from her forever, because the day he catches her eye, he will cease to exist. She told Azrael not to forget that she is watching his corruption gauge too. She said a particular line that her justice knows no exceptions. In simple terms, it means if you mess up and I catch sight of you, you're dead. Azrael says that he has never been so scared in his life until then, and the person whom Michael was looking for is none other than Lucifer. Michael always searched for Lucifer. What happens if the moment comes when she finds Lucifer? Azrael asks. He answers that it will mark the beginning of an inevitable war. Michael throws her spear at the aeroplane. Lucifer senses the spear coming and moves the plane to the right. The attendant apologizes for the inconvenience due to the turbulent flight caused by the change in air currents. Lucifer realizes that he might have exposed himself for too long. Michael is preparing for another attack. And at that moment, Hanael stands in front of her. Michael, you have to consider the passengers on the plane. Isn't protecting innocent people also an angel's duty? She asks. Michael replies that the minor casualties that occurred during the implementation of justice are unavoidable, and if one can eliminate one evil and help even more innocent people, that is what justice is, in her opinion. Michael tells Hanael that she is being too lenient with humans, and it is the duty of angels to never be swayed by personal feelings. She says that this is her personal revenge. So Hanael must never try to stop her, or else she will face the consequences. What's the problem if the two of them fight? Scalpel asks. Azrael replies that Michael's spear is such a powerful weapon that the moment the spear hits the ground, a massive explosion will occur, the so-called mini-Armageddon. It will result in the horrific destruction of 35% of all life on Earth. When all the dinosaurs on Earth became extinct 66 million years ago, it was because Lucifer avoided Michael's spear. Were they fighting even then? However, wouldn't it be a good thing for me if humanity goes extinct? Scalpel asks while laughing. He says that it would be a great opportunity to kill two birds with one stone. Azrael says that because of his increasingly demonic nature, he momentarily forgot that he was talking with an actual demon. Scalpel asks, why is it called Mini-Armageddon? Azrael replies that it's because it will only destroy 35% of all life on Earth. Oh, that's a bit disappointing. Isn't there a way to achieve 100% extinction? Scalpel asks while giving a devil's smile. He says that if he could increase the population of Hell that much, and even recruit the Apex hybrid, the forces of Hell would become invincible, and he would be promoted to the ranks of first-class demon in no time. Azrael says that as a former archangel, he will leak the secrets of heaven a little. If Scalpel helps him, he will tell Scalpel the exact moment when the true Armageddon will occur. He explains that the moment Michael's spear touches the ground, a massive explosion will occur. The corruption gauge can measure the probability of the explosion occurring. He tells Scalpel to check the risk level and intervene in the fight between Lucifer and Michael, as he must prevent Michael's spear from hitting the ground at all costs. Scalpel agrees by saying that it's a lot of work, but he'll do it for the information. He will sacrifice the mini-Armageddon for true Armageddon. Michael again throws her spear at the plane in order to call out Lucifer. The attendant announces that, due to changes in air currents, in-flight meal service will be temporarily suspended. Lucifer tells J-Ik to just wait a little longer for his food, and it seems like he has a visitor outside. Michael opens the aeroplane's door and barges in. An air hostess tells her that she cannot enter the cabin without permission. "Lucifer, come out," she shouts. Lucifer comes out and says that it's been a long time since they last met, and judging by her healthy complexion, it seems she is doing well. Without lingering, she cuts Lucifer into half. She says that greetings are a waste of time. Lucifer disappears into dust. Lucifer says that things will not go as Michael wants because he even prepared a farewell greeting this time around. The fact that I can exist anywhere as dust. You know, don't you? He asks. Michael tells Lucifer that he must also know that the moment he catches sight of her, that will be his last moment by swinging her spear. Lucifer, using this dust powers, lures Michael outside the aeroplane. He uses the dust around him to make wings to help him fly. He says that he thought he had been living well without getting caught. Scalpel, on the other hand, is flying while trying to get closer to the fight scene. He suddenly notices that the danger level has spiked to 79%. He wonders why it spiked so suddenly, but then he again notices that the danger level has reached 85%. It was happening because one of Michael's spears is about to hit the ground, but in the nick of time, Henael rushes forward and stops it. Thus, the danger level decreases to 50%. Michael again shouts by saying Lucifer's name as she charges towards him. In the meantime, J-Ik raises his hand and calls the air hostess to ask about his food. She replies that due to the disturbance caused by a certain passenger, they've had to suspend the in-flight meal service for safety reasons. At the same time, Michael and Lucifer are fighting head-to-head. "Can't we just make peace?" Lucifer asks. Michael tells him to be silent because she'd chase him to the ends of the universe just to bring him down. "Oh my! Have I done something so terrible?" Lucifer questions. Suddenly, J-Ik appears and tells both of them to stop as because of their fighting, his ramyon isn't coming. Michael turns around and gets astonished that a human, a mere mortal, can stand in mid-air without wings. "How is this possible?" she asks. J-Ik, while standing mid-air, tells them that they're supposed to sit down and fasten their seatbelt because of their disturbance on the plane. "What are adults like you doing, behaving like that in the plane?" he asks. Misha compliments J-Ik for having such abilities which are too great for a mere mortal. Lucifer replies that it's because J-Ik is an Apex hybrid. Micha replies that only archangels or higher ranks can fly high in the sky without wings. Jae-ik asks them why they're always saying something about flying, because at that moment he actually didn't realize that he was flying yet. He notices that he currently can't feel the floor of the plane. He looks down and sees that he is standing in the sky and starts to lose consciousness. Micha states that even if Jae-ik is an apex hybrid, he has still not matured yet. After seeing Jae-ik, for a moment Micha forgot that she was fighting Lucifer. She again swings her sword at him. Lucifer dodges and tells Mika that he must save a friend who is currently falling. "Friend? You mean to say you have a friend?" she asks. Lucifer replies that this friend is bound to follow him and will eventually grow to like him. He says that they're going to become best friends soon. Moreover, in his opinion, Jae-ik will admire him and be drawn to his charm, yearning for more. Michael replies that no one will ever admire a person like Lucifer. "Shall we make a bet then?" Lucifer asks. Michael gets angrily and tells him to be silent because she will pierce that deceitful tongue of his. In the meantime, as Jae-ik was falling from the sky, Hanael comes flying in full speed and rescues him. She catches Jae-ik with one hand while holding Michael's spear on the other. She tells Jae-ik to come to his senses. Jae-ik calls her name, but he is still feeling dizzy. On the contrary, Michael releases another spear at Lucifer, which cuts through his right shoulder, and the spear, after piercing Lucifer's right side, suddenly gets blasted with lightning. Lucifer quickly flies away from the danger and gets behind Michael. Lucifer, while recovering his body, says that he'd rather not have his tongue pierced, so it's indeed a wise choice to keep his distance from her. At that moment, Hanael appears in front of Lady Michael and tells her that her carelessness when throwing the spear could have caused serious harm to innocent humans. Hanael leaves Jae-ik on the cloud while advising him to pull himself together and tells him to stay still. "Are we standing on the ground?" Jae-ik asks. Hanael replies that it's not the ground, but as they are above the cloud, the lack of visibility below him will give him a sense of psychological stability. So he must be able to stand still. Jae-ik replies that it's expected from an angel to come up with an awesome solution this quickly. Hanael goes near Michael to give her spear back. However, Hanael implores her to cease this reckless fighting. Michael finally gets her spear back. She says that now that she has justice in her grasp, she'll make sure to pierce Lucifer through and through. Lucifer tells her to go easy on him, considering their past, as they were allies once. Lucifer asks whether she has forgotten about their sweet past. Michael replies that if Lucifer goes on and on like this, she will actually pierce his tongue for real. She explains that she is doing this precisely because they were friends once, and a close one at that. "What? The two of them were close at one point?" Jae-ik asks from behind. Michael replies that originally all enmity begins from times of friendship. In the past, when Michael was hunting and killing monsters regarded as titans with Lucifer. It was Lucifer's first day of hunting. Lucifer was mesmerized, amazed, and impressed at the same time by seeing Michael's attack power, because at that time even Lucifer's blade couldn't penetrate the skin of a titan. It was his first day, and he aimed that one day he would annihilate all the monsters, but he was unsure when that day would come. He dealt the final blow on the titan. After killing the titan, he came right back at Michael to tell her that from today onwards, he will strive to learn from someone like her as his mentor. Lucifer said that Michael always wears her uniform with dignity, and she is a role model worth following. So one day he hoped to become an archangel just like Michael because he really admired her. Misha replies that of all the angels she has seen recently, Lucifer is definitely the most ambitious one. The path to becoming a high-ranking angel is quite straightforward. So she told him to just perform more acts of righteousness than anyone else. "How do you enact justice?" he asked. Michael replied that enacting justice is all about delivering judgment to those deemed most evil among the wicked, and there's no quicker way to advance in rank. Lucifer asks whether there is any need for something like honor points. Michael answered that it's all about the achievements. The key is to vanquish greater and mightier evils every time. She told him not to worry about the hardships as she'll be there to assist him, because she highly regarded his passion for justice. When they were together, they fought and killed countless monsters and maintained a good relationship. Then, things started to change as they stumbled across the blue dragon which Michael always wanted to catch. Catching the blue dragon will help both of them to increase their ranks. They both thanked each other for their support and promised to never forget these happy moments which they shared together. It also included the memory of them landing the finishing blow together. Wait a minute. Were you two actually closer in the past than I realized? J-Ik asks while making a shocking face. Michael shouts by saying that they were not close. It was nothing more than a vile deception. Lucifer agrees that he may have acted like he was at the lower-level angel to make things easier for him, but he says that the time they spent together was neither a scam nor deception. Michael shouts at Lucifer while telling him to remember the time when they took down the ultimate blue dragon when she asked Lucifer whether he could feel his rank rising. It was really a shocking moment for Michael to hear Lucifer saying that he can feel it, the feeling of a profound sense of liberation deep within him. Lucifer was talking about that kind of liberation which Michael never ever expected from Lucifer. Bound by the heavenly seals, Lucifer sensed his true liberation being unleashed. He thanked Michael because of her, his seal, which was enchanted by the blue dragon, has finally been broken, and he doubted whether he could ever defeat it alone. Thanks to her, he can now leave to seek the ultimate freedom that is beyond angels and devils. Lastly, he turned his back on Michael and told her that when she returns to the heaven, she must tell them that he, Lucifer, has finally chosen the path of a freelancer who is no longer bounded by any chains. At present, Michael again throws her spear at Lucifer, which pierces his body from the middle. Lucifer says that fighting while talking about the past makes him hesitate and uncomfortable to attack. Moreover, he knows how the story goes, but he still wanted to hear it again. The spear again goes to fall on the ground. In the meantime, Scalpel notices that the danger gauge has sparked again, and if this keeps up, it might trigger a mini Armageddon, so he speeds up in order to stop that. In the past, when Michael was in confinement, she remembered how that deception felt. A deception and a humiliation which was aimed at her. Her self-esteem had fallen to depths deeper than hell, and her mind was left with nothing but ruins. Yet after a period of aimlessness, she came to a decision. She made a promise to herself that she will find Lucifer and kill him. At present, J-Ik asked Michael whether she is fighting this intensely just because her ego was bruised by a once close comrade. Heniel tells J-Ik not to be reckless because it's not worth mentioning. Michael, while spreading her wings even wider, conveys that there are things that humans cannot understand like pride and honor, which are virtually everything to an archangel. These words make J-Ik even angry. He says that an archangel shouldn't go this far and take such length over something so insignificant as an ego. Heniel holds J-Ik's arm and tells him that he shouldn't step any further as it will be dangerous. J-Ik makes a run towards the fight, saying that he can't tolerate this anymore. Heniel shouts at J-Ik, telling him that he mustn't succumb to anger. J-Ik runs in full speed, but he notices that he can't stop his legs by his own will now. Michael and Lucifer are fighting, and J-Ik passed right through them, climbing up to the sky. Heniel gets confused by thinking whether J-Ik wants to stop the fight or make them fight more. J-Ik can't control his strength, and he can't even control his speed. It was so fast that he reached the outer edge of the atmosphere in mere moments. On Earth, Michael's spear is about to hit the ground again, but Scalpel catches it in the nick of time. He says that if he wasn't here, the mini-Armageddon was nearly about to happen. He then rushes to the fighting area and recognizes Lucifer just by seeing his back. He says that even at a fleeting glance, he can tell who it is, because Lucifer is his favorite idol, the one who has always been the source of his obsession. Someday he vowed to become a demon like Lucifer. He has made this promise again and again. He can't control his saliva when he is standing beside his idol. He tells Lucifer to take him in. "What do you mean?" Lucifer asks. Scalpel then gives Michael's spear of justice to Lucifer. He says that he never thought he would meet his idol like that, and as a fan, he feels truly blessed. He says that he is a fan who even attended Lucifer's concerts, but as a fan, he doesn't have much to offer to Lucifer. So he tells Lucifer to accept this spear while asking for his autograph. Lucifer smiles as he says that this is the most meaningful gift that he has received and asks Scalpel for his name. Scalpel happily introduces himself while blushing as he stands like a soldier who is greeting his general commander. In outer space, Jayik finally regains control over his body. He thinks that sound can't travel in the vacuum of space, so he tries to use it to his advantage as he flies towards Earth in full speed by his own will. Michael tells Lucifer that it's quite daring of him to use justice by his own hand. Lucifer says that if she ceases her attacks now, he will not retaliate any further. "Do you believe yourself worthy to wield justice?" Michael asks while screaming. Lucifer replies that true justice lies in the actions of the one who holds it, be it his hand or another's, as he swings the spear at Michael. Misha dodges it, and both of them make some distance around them. Michael charges forward first, with her sword to attack Lucifer, but Lucifer blocks it with the spear, also known as the Justice. Michael taunts Lucifer by saying that he should probably put down the spear if he can't handle it properly. Lucifer replies that he can quickly improve his proficiency if needed. Michael then rotates her sword as fast as possible, which makes Lucifer to retreat backwards. Lucifer says that he is willing to put the spear down if Michael wants him to. Michael replies that it's too late for that, and Lucifer needs to die before doing that. At that moment, Jayik comes back, while shouting that he has mastered how to levitate. He tells them to stop fighting. Meanwhile, Lucifer tells Michael that he will return her spear, justice, in his own way. "How does it feel to be struck down by your own spear?" he asks as he throws the justice towards Michael. Michael states that justice is not something for the likes of him to shout about recklessly, as she dodges the attack, which eventually hits Jayik. Jayik loses his consciousness as he gets a critical hit from the justice and starts falling towards the ground. Hanael notices it and flies in order to catch Jayik, but at that time she notices that Scalpel is also flying towards Jayik. Scalpel tells himself that he mustn't let the spear hit the ground and he must stop it at any cost. Hanael wonders why is Scalpel doing that. Scalpel catches the spear and he wishes to return it to Lucifer again, but then he realizes that the tip of the spear has disappeared. Hanael passes through Scalpel at full speed while saying that she figures that it doesn't make sense for Scalpel to help Jayik so proactively. Meanwhile, Michael realizes that she can't sense her justice anymore, and Hanael is the only one who can save Jayik now. Hanael flies towards Jayik and says that this is the most important job she has ever been entrusted with, to protect Jayik and to ensure he doesn't get hurt. Hanael dives faster and says that she would be unworthy of being a guardian if she is unable to protect Jayik. Hanael gets beneath Jayik and stops saying that she will save him no matter what it takes. Jayik then falls directly towards Hanael. She catches Jayik safely and looks at his stomach where the spear hits. She gets shocked to see that the spear tip is nowhere to be seen, and the wound is already healed. Michael and Lucifer sees this from high up in the sky. Michael says that the reason the spear tip is gone is because J-Ik has absorbed it into his body. On the other hand, we can see Azrael is shouting Scalpel's name, and there was no response, so he gets nervous, as if a catastrophe like the mini-Armageddon were to occur because of his negligence, he might be cast down into an even deeper abyss as punishment. While he is thinking this, his hand's binding gets broken, and after that the chair bursts, and it throws Azrael on the ground. Azrael is utterly in shock due to the unexpected release of the bindings. Azrael also feels that the power of judgment has weakened. Later, an explosive occurs in the lava, and a huge beam of lava erupted. From that lava, a demon appears and shouts that the chains of hell has loosened. Azrael is scared to see all this. The demon gets up and says that the power of Michael, who had condemned them, has weakened. The demon also says that even though he has not yielded throughout the years of suffering, he never expected to be released so suddenly. This demon is the great demon of prophecy, the unrepentant long-timer, the great king Angoulême. Angoulême then takes his feet from the lava and steps on the place where Azrael is sitting. Azrael sees this coming, so he quickly jumps aside to avoid being smashed. "Arise, all who have been judged! Prove that you were not wrong," Angoulême shouts. Azrael is about to fall on the lava, but he somehow grabs the rock and climbs it up. Due to Angoulême's calling, tiny demons get out of the lava. Angoulême then points his finger towards the exit and shouts, "To those who recklessly swung the sword of judgment without evidence, unleash your deep-seated vengeance." He tells this to the lower demons, and that gets hyped up and jumps towards the exit. On the outside, Michael is about to attack Lucifer, but Lucifer is not willing to continue the fight, so he tells Michael to wait. But Michael didn't listen to him and launched her attack. Lucifer dodges the attack and tells her to look behind. Michael looks behind and shouts, Titan! Why is that giant here?" The Titan looks at them angrily and tells that he is here because both of them are his archenemies. Seeing the Titan, Lucifer starts to talk about the day when humanity witnessed the fear of being dominated by the Titans. Michael gets behind Lucifer and says that what he is suddenly talking about. Lucifer blushes and tells that he can't help but monologue when he sees a Titan. The giant makes it move and throws a punch at them. The both of them dodges the punch. As Lucifer dodges the punch, he tells the giant that why is he attacking him as they used to, allies in the same evil faction. While Lucifer is saying this at that time, a huge fire hits him, but Lucifer turns into ash to avoid being executed. Lucifer falls back and reassembles beside Michael and asked, "What in the world is happening as the blue dragon has been freed as well?" It appears that the absolute evils that were judged have risen in revolt, exploiting the weakened state of justice, Michael replies. Hearing this, Lucifer asked that if everyone who was judged been set free. Michael replied, "No," and says that it seems only those whom he and she had judged have been released. In the meantime, the lower demons, along with Angoulême, has get on the surface. Angoulême stands on the ground and tells his guys to run rampant, as this is their tour to pass on judgment. Azrael also comes out of the hole and tells Scalpel that Angoulême once sought to trigger the true Armageddon, but was sealed away when his conspiracy was exposed by the prophecies. Scalpel gets shocked to hear this and tells Azrael to wait, as this is his role. In the meantime, the Titan continues his attacks on Lucifer, but Lucifer avoids all of them. Scalpel then gets closer to Lucifer and tells him that a being named Angoulême has brought all the damned souls of hell to the surface. Lucifer gets worried and asked Michael that if they also had judged Angoulême. Not exactly, but it seems he's taken advantage of the current situation to bring with him others who were judged for different reasons. Michael replies. The Titan rises his hand high up in the sky and grabs all the clouds and makes a tight fist and punched Lucifer. Lucifer turns to ash and dodges it. The punch fells on the mountain and the mountain turns into dust. Michael, even if you plan to punish me later, let's form an alliance for now. Although it's just the two of us, if we combine our strengths like old times, we can defeat them. Lucifer falls back and tells this to Michael. Michael agrees to hold on his judgment, but she didn't agree to team up with an evil. After that, Michael steps on the Titan's arm and starts to move towards its head. Michael gets serious and she uses her powers and quickly flies to the back of the Titan and make a cut on his neck. The Titan's neck starts to bleed and he shouts in pain. As Michael is fighting the Titan, so Lucifer decides to take care of the blue dragon. In the ground, Hanel is holding Jae-ik in her arms, and Golmo and his army is rushing towards them. Hanel sees them and gets worried as Jae-ik is currently unconscious. So Hanel tries to wake him up, but Jae-ik is making weird faces and his face starts to sweat a lot. It seems like Jae-ik is having a dream. In the dream, someone is calling him and says, "Him baby." Jae-ik asked who it is and says that he is no baby. Though he is still a minor, he is of age to obtain a scooter license. After that, we can says in the dark, a lady appears with her head wrapped around in white cloth. The lady reach out her hand towards Jae-ik and says that, by a stroke of serendipity, she has finally gotten the chance to meet him. Jae-ik gets shocked, and he asked her if by any chance she is her real mom. As Jae-ik asks the question, he sees that a bright blue light come towards him from above, and he also hears that someone is chanting spicy pork. Hearing the word spicy pork, Jae-ik also starts to think about that. And while saying spicy pork, he opens his eyes and gets up and screams spicy pork. Seeing this, Hanel thanks the heavens that her magic worked on Jae-ik. "Do you know who I saw in my dream?" Jae-ik asked. Hanel replies that she know, but now's not the time for that. She then points towards the running demons and tells Jae-ik that they are coming for them. Angolmo and his subordinates are running at full speed, and they have the strong determination for taking their vengeance. Seeing this demons, Jae-ik asked Hanel that if they should take them down. Jae-ik, don't judge them by appearances. We have no business fighting those beings. They might just be victims of justice, for all we know. Hanel says this to Jae-ik. After hearing the word justice, Jae-ik's chest glow up. Jae-ik's hair turns full black, and due to his power, his shirt gets shredded into pieces. And now Jae-ik can feel the burning urge inside him to pass down a judgment on this demons. On the other hand, the giant slangs Michael and tries to grab her. Michael floats in front of the giant and says that she holds no personal grudges against him. But however, she has to pass down the judgment as once absolute evil, always absolute evil. The giant says that his resentment overflows, and if be catch, he will tear her apart. After that, Michael makes her move, and with a single slash, she cuts the arm of the Titan in half, and she says that if she is to be broken to pieces, she might as well accept her fate. On the other side, the blue dragon and Lucifer is facing of each other. The dragon tells Lucifer that he will make him pay for what he has done to him. Lucifer hold back and asked the dragon that why is he only attacking him as Michael was also there with him. The dragon stays silent and starts to build up his breathe. After some time, the dragon throws a huge fireball at Lucifer. The fire surrounds Lucifer, but again he uses his ash magic and gets out of there. On the ground, Angolmo is running and shouting to motivate his subordinates, but after a while he gets tired and stops to take some fresh air. As he was resting of a long time in hell, his stamina has dropped. As he is resting, he feels that a rat is tailing him. It is Azrael that is rushing towards him to attack. Angolmo notices it as dodges the attack. He then kicks Azrael and Azrael flies away. In the mid-air, Azrael gets his angel powers back, and he spreads his blue wings and floats in the air. He then takes out his pistol and points it at Angolom and says that, as an angel, his duty is to pushing the rampaging demon. Saying this, he shoots at Angolmo. Angolom blocks the bullets with his arms and tells Azrael that There's no reason for the both of them to fight, and he see no reason to be labeled a criminal either. Azrael lands on the ground, and while pointing the gun at Angolom, he says that escaping the hell is a sin. And as an angel, he has witnessed the escape, so now he can't ignore this. Hearing this, Angolmo says that if Azrael have been following him for that long and witnessed the escape, then it means he have escaped from the prison too. So Nangolom won't accept being the only one branded a criminal just because of their positions as angels and demons. Isn't it inevitable? Since it was the fundamental difference between angels and demons, Azrael loads his gun and says this. He then gives a deadly look at Angolmo. After that, as Azrael fires his gun, the ground beneath Angolmo starts to shake and the ground opens, leading the way to hell. Some red-black ropes-like thing comes out of there and warps around Angolom and drags him into the pits of hell. On Jayik's side, he rushed towards the lowly demons and with his newly awakened justice powers. He gets there and starts to punch the demons. From his one punch, the demons flies away and dies instantly. Hanael is seeing this from behind, and she feels a bit sad. Jayik is killing the demons merciless. As Hanael is unable to see this inhuman side of Jayik, so she tells him to stop. She also tells Jayik that the reason he is acting like this is because of the spear shroud, which is embedded in him. Jayik stops for a bit and looks at his hand and tells Hanael that if he don't strike those vile-looking ones, he get this unbearable itch all over. Hanael tells him that the curse of Michael has been stuck on him. In the meantime, the demons surrounded Jayik. Jayik then uses a blust and kills the demons that surrounds him. Now, as all the demons are gone, Jayik clams down and he feels slightly better. Hanael comes towards him and tells him to try to endure it. Jayik tells Hanael that he hears a voice like a Bluetooth earphone from the space between his esophagus and diaphragm saying he must carry out justice. Hanael understands this. She then tells him to clam down while she finds a way to extract that shroud out of him. While all of this is occurring, Lucifer tries his best to run away from the Blue Dragon's attacks. He gets on the ground and starts to run, following him. The dragon also gets down and tries to smash him with his claws, but Lucifer saves himself by turning into ash. Lucifer reassembles in front of the dragon's mouth and tells him that he is disappointed in him as considering the weight class and the proportion of attacks isn't using his breath on him. The underdog, a bit of an overkill. The dragon gives a serious look and says that the weight of the name Lucifer is not that light to be called an underdog, and Lucifer is concealing his strength, as he is not one to dodge without countering his attacks. Lucifer gets shy and tells the dragon that that's long story and he hasn't recovered his full strength yet. Now the dragon again prepares to attack as he wants to put an end to Lucifer's life. As the dragon is about to attack at that time, Jayik comes and punched at the head of the dragon. The punch was so powerful that the dragon falls on the ground. Jayik then tells the dragon that oppressing the weak is not just, and as someone who embodies justice, he cannot stand such injustice. Is ambushing now suddenly a just action? The dragon asked. Jayik replies that helping a friend who has once shown you kindness can also be considered justice. Hearing this, Lucifer holds Jayik's hand and thanks him for not forgetting him. Seeing Lucifer, Jayik gets angry and shouts that Lucifer is an absolute evil. He then grabs Lucifer's hand tightly and pulls him towards him and throws a couple of punches. Due to Lucifer's ability, he gets out of there unscratched. He gets behind Jayik and tells him that they agreed to be friends, and now attacking a friend like this tarnishes all the moments they have shared together. Jayik gets furious and he turns around and throws a punch with all of his strength. As the attack is about to land on Lucifer at that time, Scalpel gets there and pulls Lucifer out of there. In the meantime, the dragon recovers and he gets up as Jayik is showing his back to his enemy. The dragon tells Jayik that this is just an invitation for a sneak attack. Hearing this, Jayik turns his head and looks at the dragon angrily.